There is much at stake here at the Hoosier Dome for the Buffalo Bills. A win today would clinch home field advantage throughout the playoffs. For the Indianapolis Colts to make the wild card, they must win while the Browns lose to the Oilers. The Colts will be facing the #1 defensive unit in the AFC. Buffalo leads in sacks with 43. They lead the conference in fewest points allowed. Defense has propelled the 12-3 Bills throughout the year. While the Colts, with a record of 8-7, need Eric Dickerson to put up big numbers. Aside from one game against Miami, the NFL's leading rusher has been quiet in recent weeks, but he's looking to break out today. Another capacity crowd on hand at the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis. Better than 60,000 have turned out with the Colts season on the line. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert along with Paul McGuire. And for the Indianapolis Colts, it has come down to the 16th and final regular season game. It's come down to Eric Dickerson, who in the 2 previous games against Buffalo has been held in check. Both, incidentally, victories for the Buffalo Bills.
You know, Barb, I talked to Walt Corey, who's the defensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills, and he told me one thing. He said, we don't change our defense when we play the Colts because of Dickerson. All we do is we have a man that goes wherever he goes. We go to the ball, and look what happens when they go to the ball. 19 yards, 66 yards. They know that if they stop Eric Dickerson, they stop more than half of the Colts offense.
And Bruce Smith has been a major factor the last 2 games against the Colts. He has manhandled fellow All-Pro left tackle Chris Hinton.
He's manhandled a lot of tackles. I'll tell you, he's got such a great release off the line of scrimmage. And we'll show him during the course of the game. He's got a great turn move to the inside. He can get upfield on the outside. But the best thing about him, he plays run so very well.
And head coach Marv Levy will be without 2 outstanding members of his defensive unit. Shane Conlon because of a foot injury. Art Still with a knee problem. Inactive today. Fred Smerlas will start at nose tackle, but he's bothered by an ailing knee, so he will not see much action. We'll see quite a bit of Jeff Wright. And we are set for the kickoff, sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. The Bills won the toss. They will receive as Dean Biasucci, the 4-year pro from Weston, Carolina, gets set to kick it off. The deep man, Errol Tucker, back from a knee injury, activated for today's game. A first-year player out of Utah, a guy who can break it. It is a short kick, and it is taken by Ronnie Harmon. And here's Harmon coughing it up. The Indianapolis Colts get an early break as they recover.
You know, as a return man, Marv, you're supposed to get as much as you possibly can. Break it to daylight. And here Harmon is trying to get a little bit more yardage. Jumped over a man. In the process, loses the ball. Here comes Harmon. The hole is there. He sees it. He goes to his left for a moment. Then he sees the hole is right back to his right. He makes that move. Now watch when he goes up in the air. When he goes up in the air, the ball hits off his knee. Just trying to get a little bit extra. Biasucci is on the ball.
And for the Colts, their 20th fumble recovery. They came into the game tied with Houston for the NFL lead in that department. And they go to the offense. Here is Dickerson. Getting inside the 30. Picked up 7. Scott Radisick, inside linebacker. Replacing the injured Shane Conlon, making the stop. Chris Chandler starting at quarterback. The H-back Mark Boyer. Eric Dickerson, the running back, leading the NFL in rushing. And the receivers, Verdant and Brooks and Beach. Donaldson making it to the Pro Bowl, anchoring the line at center. Dixon and out at the guards. Hinton and Patton, and Call, are the tackles. 2nd down and 3 at the 30. Dickerson stopped at the line. He is smacked up. Leon Seals, who is getting the starting nod today because of the injury suffered by Art Still, making the stop. Smerlas started the game to continue that streak, 133 straight starts, not including the strike period. And so he is replaced by Jeff Wright, Talley, Radisick, Bentley, and Bennett, the linebackers, and Burrows with Kelso, Smith, and Odoms. 3rd down and about 4. Look out. So penalty flags thrown, and we'll hear from Jerry Seaman for the first time.
They had two people offside. Bruce Smith was offside. Cornelius Bennett jumped, and whether they were pulled off, we'll have to wait. It's against the Colts.
Colts start prior to the snap. Number 20, offense. Still third down.
And the Colts have not been a highly penalized team. It is Albert Bentley, the H-back, who was called on that penalty. Sets it back to a 3rd down and 9.
Bentley, you just see Bentley move. Now, he can move along the line of scrimmage, but he moved towards the line of scrimmage. Once he did that, Smith was there, and then fingers start being pointed.
Now Chandler out of the shotgun. Looking for Dan. Clarence Verdun with a good effort, but not able to hang on. He was covered by the strong safety, Leonard Smith.
Well, Derek Burrows, number 29, is going to be on him, on Verdun, man-to-man here. You're going to see 46 come into the picture. Verdun actually has Burrows beat, but he knows that he has help from the safety. That ball was there. It should have been caught.
And now the field goal unit checking in. Dean Biasucci will attempt from 53 yards away. He is 5 for 7 from 50 and beyond. That is an NFL record. Let's see. Here's Biasucci. Strong leg. And he's got it. 53-yard field goal by Dean Biasucci. That is an NFL record. Most field goals in a single season from beyond 50. They're now calling it officially 52, and the Colts, taking advantage of that fumble on the opening kickoff, have a 3-0 lead. A 53-yard field goal that was earlier in the season against the Chicago Bears. And Biasucci has tied the Colts franchise record for points by a kicker in one season, 112, tying with Raul Alegre, who's now a member of the Giants. Alegre did it back in 1983.
Just keep one thing in mind. The first time these two teams met this season, Colts were leading 17-0 when the Bills decided to get back in the ball game and then win it.
Well, Ronnie Harmon is back deep on the right wing. Errol Tucker is way back, and again it is Harmon out to the 10. Nice move by Harmon. A penalty marker is down, and he is able to hang on. A good return, 27 yards, but let's see what this flag entails. The hold against Buffalo. Buffalo Bills go to the offense now for the first time.
Holding number 99 receiving team during the return. First down.
So the hold on Hal Garner. Urban Thomas, Jamie Mueller, the running backs. Chris Burkett drawing the starting nod rather than Andre Reed, who sat out last week because of a knee injury, and it was thought he would be back. We'll see him later. And a look at the offensive line, and the Bills hearing the crowd as they start out first down from the 18-yard line. Thurman Thomas reeling off 7 on the play. O'Brien Alston, the outside linebacker, making the stop. Harvey Armstrong in a nose tackle for Joe Klecko, who is expected to play later, bothered by a nerve injury in his neck. Alston with Young, Krause, and Pickett. Young bothered by a heel injury. Missed the second half last week in the game against the Jets, and that's a revamped defensive secondary because of a host of injuries. Here's Thomas again on a sweep. Short of the first down. Harvey Armstrong on the stop. So a 3rd down and 1 coming up. Thurman Thomas leading the Buffalo Bills, 854 yards on the ground. Our first sweep around the ticker. And the only score to report on, Pittsburgh leading Miami 7-0. We'll keep you posted on that Cleveland-Houston game. That is the big one as far as the Indianapolis Indianapolis Colts are concerned, Colts must win, Browns must lose. If Cleveland wins, they make it to the wild card by virtue of head-to-head play. Third week of the season, Cleveland beat Indianapolis in Cleveland 23-17. Patriots also still have a shot if the Browns and the Colts are losers. Nice catch for the first down and more. Pete Metzelaars, the tight end, for a 26-yard hookup.
Keith Taylor, number 27, who is a nickelback in this formation. Now, Tremaine Johnson is forced inside, but watch what number 27 right here. He goes up to try to make the interception, misjudges the ball. Metzelaars keeps his eye on the ball, makes the reception, first down.
Buffalo Bills first down at the Indianapolis 49. 3-0 Colts on a 52-yard field goal by Biasucci. Rob Riddick stopped on the play. 1-yard advance. John Hand, number 78, the right defensive end, made the tackle.
Got some excellent linebackers in this game. Cornelius Bennett and also Dwayne Bickett, number 50 for the Colts. Fills as well as anybody against the run. Also is an excellent pass rusher. We're going to see Bickett probably come in. Hand is the man that makes the play. He gets Riddick, but you see Bickett going down the line, getting away from Metzelaars. He's in a position, number 50, to make the play.
Second down for Kelly. Could not find anyone and just throws it away. He was in the process of being caught by Barry Krause. Metzelaars, the intended receiver. Last week in the Buffalo victory over the Raiders, which ended a 2-game losing streak, the Bills ran for a season-high 255 yards, and again they're trying to establish the run here in the early going.
All right, we talked about Bickett a moment ago. Here he is on Jamie Mueller, number 39. Now watch, he carries him inside. Mueller holds on to him, lets Kelly get back to the outside, but then Krause forces the play. Kelly tried to get the ball to Metzelaars. No dice.
Third and 9 at the Colt 47. Incomplete. Riddick, the intended receiver, covered by Keith Taylor. A quickie series for the Buffalo Bills, and the crowd reacting to the defensive play of their Colts.
You know, you mentioned it, that Andre Reed was out. The Buffalo Bills have about 5 or 6 guys that really aren't playing in this ball game, even though this game means home field advantage in the championship game. But on the other hand, we still have the Colts, as you said, another makeshift defense. And this is so important to them. If Cleveland should lose and they should win, they're in the playoffs.
Clarence Verdun, as you saw, second in the AFC in punt return. Kidd handling that low snap. Took a good hop, and Verdun has to cover up. Tough one to handle for Clarence Verdun. It's a 40-yard punt.
Well, if you're watching this game and sometime you hear an uproar and nothing has happened, they're in the huddle, you realize that Houston might score again. And if they do that, this place will go crazy, as long as the Colts are winning.
And for Buffalo, what is at stake is home field advantage. A victory here today would provide that advantage throughout the playoffs. If they lose, it will be Cincinnati's throughout the playoffs. It is a first down from the 6-yard line. Colts with a 3-0 lead on that long-range field goal by Biasucci. Here's Dickerson, and he is stopped back at the line of scrimmage. Leon Seals and Ray Bentley combining.
You know, it's interesting when you watch Eric Dickerson in the backfield. Now, he lines up about 7 yards deep. And when you see him running plays, their plays are not designed to just run in a particular hole. You see, when Dickerson comes up to the line of scrimmage, he's looking all the time to find any kind of daylight. All they want to do is screen the defensive players, let him find a hole, and he can run anywhere he wants to run.
He lost a yard. Second and 11 at the 5. And again, Dickerson, he found the hole this time. Working his way to the 14, picked up 9.
Now, Eric Dickerson, they're running away from Smith, is on the other side. There's Cornelius Bennett, 55. He's playing on a tight end. Now, watch what happens. As soon as he sees Leon Seals to the inside, Cornelius Bennett to the outside, Dickerson just breaks it right up between the two, and he's got that burst that can get him there.
And it sets up a 3rd down and 2. Eric Dickerson trying to become the first Colt since Alan the Horse Amici back in 1955 to win the rushing title. He has won it 3 separate occasions as a member of the Los Angeles Rams. Dickerson cuts to the left this time and has the first down.
The Bills changed their defense up. What they do is they move, sometimes they'll move Bruce Smith to the inside. That time, Eric Dickerson, I don't think he looks at him. And they take a look at, here comes Hinton down. They brought Bruce Smith to the inside. Once Dickerson sees that, now Talley takes himself to the inside. Dickerson breaks back to the outside.
Eric Dickerson going into today with the lead on Roger Craig of San Francisco, Herschel Walker of Dallas. First down at the 18. Halfway through this first quarter. And Chandler goes the middle. Has Brooks. Bill Brooks on the reception, picked up 25.
Now, Derek Burrows made a mistake. First of all, he gets beat to the inside. I don't know whether the defense called for help on the inside. But once Brooks catches the ball, he goes down. And watch what Burrows does, number 29. First of all, he's playing off of Brooks. Brooks breaks to the inside. Here's the catch. Now, Brooks goes on the ground. He's not down. You've got to go over and touch him. But he touched him on the way up, so he picks up another 6 yards.
Bill Brooks with his 51st catch of the season. There's Derek Burrows. He's the left corner. Nate Odoms on the right side. Kelso and Smith are the safety men. It is a first down for the Colts at the 44, and apparently they're checking out the replay. That is Dave Kamansky.
Well, I don't think they're checking out the fact that the ball was caught. That was caught, whether he was down or not. And Burrows actually got his hand on Brooks while he was on the ground, which will move the ball back to the 36-yard line. Now, here's Brooks down. Now, he's rolling back. If he's up,
the play stands.
He's up. No, he's not. He's down. His knee is on the ground. The play should be back about the 36-yard line. Burrows did get there in time.
So a first down at the 44. Off the draw. Dickerson able to pick his way. He reads so well. He has that hesitation move, and he went for an effortless 9.
I love it. It really does look effortless. When you sit here and look at this guy run, he's got such great momentum and poise. Now, we're looking at Hinton blocking on Bruce Smith. Hinton 75, Bruce Smith pushes Hinton to the inside, but when he does that, look, and he actually takes himself out of the play.
It'll be a 2nd and 1 at the Buffalo 47. 6 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Ron Meyer took over the Colts for the final 3 games of the 1986 season, won all 3. Last year, they won the AFC East. Chandler in trouble, has to run it out, and has the first down. He was looking to throw, could not find anyone, and then picked up the first down. Houston on the field goal by Zendejas from 40 yards away with the 3-0 lead. If the Giants beat the Jets, they take the NFC East division title. Philadelphia and Dallas, no score. Miami and Pittsburgh tied at 7. And of course, we'll be keeping a careful watch on Houston and Cleveland. First down at the 43-yard line. Marv Albert, Paul McGuire from the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis. Dickerson getting across the 40. Indianapolis Colts at 8-7. They began the year 1-5, appeared to be out of it, dead, but a 5-game win streak got them back into it. Then last week lost to the Jets 34-16. Jets with 21 points in the third quarter, just controlled the ball in the second half. 22 out of a possible 30 minutes. Special teams did not play well. The kicking game with major breakdowns. Offensive line not opening the holes for Dickerson, but not the case thus far here in the first quarter. 2nd and 6. Dickerson to the outside, has room. And another first down. He's running so well here at the start. He reeled off another 11.
You've got to keep a linebacker on the outside. That time, Darryl Talley took an inside move. Once Dickerson saw that, he stands so far back in the backfield, all he does is read. Whatever you do, he does the opposite. He looked to the outside, saw Darryl Talley, number 56, stuck on the inside. He just broke it back outside, and there was no one there until you get to the corner of the safety. Take a look at Dickerson. He goes here. There's Talley, 56, got himself with Boyer, number 84, stuck to the inside. Once that happened, all you have is Kelso, the safety, making the play.
And the Colts have a first down at the Buffalo 28. Chandler on a keeper. There was some movement in the line, and now a disagreement. Ben Up, the Indianapolis right guard, involved with a couple of the Bills.
I don't think that was designed. I think they snapped the ball too soon.
Looked to be confusion. And from the look of Ron Meyer, I think that was it.
And what Chandler did, Marv Skibby, is he smart enough to say, all right, if I got a busted play, let me go forward. I'll pick up a yard.
And that is what he did. 2nd and 9. Dickerson this time had nowhere to go. Loss of 4. Ray Bentley, the inside linebacker, was right there. He has had a career season. 108 tackles to lead Buffalo. This is 3rd year out of Central Michigan. Had a big game last week against the Raiders.
When you talk about a linebacker with Dickerson, here comes Bentley and Scott Radisick, number 97. They are both in there, keying on Dickerson. Going up the middle, they lose a lot, the Buffalo Bills, defensively because of Shane Conlon not being in there. But Radisick's a pretty good player.
Long drive, 10th play of the drive. They've accounted for 4 first downs, but now facing a 3rd and 12. And Chandler goes the middle, and looked to be some miscommunication. Albert Bentley was making his way out to the flag.
Yeah, he was. Wayne Davis, number 21, was sitting there with him. This ball was thrown in a hurry. Bentley didn't even look back. He thought it was supposed to be a longer pattern. Probably was not the primary receiver on this play. But when you see people blitzing, and they put that many people on the line of scrimmage, you have to look right now.
And here is Dean Biasucci checking in once again. He hit from 52 earlier. And this will be a 48-yard attempt. Ron Stark will hold. Biasucci is 25 for 31 on the season. No good. So the score remains the Colts 3, the Bills nothing. 2:50 left, first quarter. Goes the middle and has the first down with Andre Reed. Andre Reed had a sensational game earlier in the season against the Colts. 6 catches, 2 touchdowns. Question mark because of a knee, sat out last week against the Raiders, and he has the first down.
And Kelly is looking at Andre Reed all the way. Andre Reed is only playing on 3rd down passing situations. He comes into the ball game. He does have a sore knee, but he practiced all week long, looked very well. They thought, he could start, but they said, why chance it if we don't have to? If the other receivers are doing their job, we can leave them on the sideline.
Picked up 10. He now has a reception in 35 straight games. First down at the 45. That's Mueller in motion. Play action. And Kelly goes sideline. And it's broken up. Chucky Miller from the left corner position, able to break it up. It is still Houston with a 3-0 lead on the 40-yard field goal by Tony Zendejas. Pat Leahy from 41 yards away to give the Jets the lead over the Giants, and Dallas in front of Philadelphia 7-0. Giant win would clinch the division. A Philadelphia loss would also do it. Miami and Pittsburgh tied at 7. Tampa Bay leads Detroit 7-0. 2nd down and 10. Soft pass. Metzelaars could not get to it. Cliff Odom on the coverage.
And the thing about this pass, and I don't know why Kelly picked out Metzelaars on this particular play, is because there's only a 3-man rush, and Kelly has all day to throw the ball. Look, there is really no penetration, nothing in Kelly's face. Here's Metzelaars going across. He was open, just dropped the football. Cliff Odom was there, should have had it.
Kelly 2 for 6, 37 yards. looking at a 3rd down and 10. The Bills trailing the Colts 3-0. 40 seconds left, first quarter. And Kelly guns it. It's complete, but short of the first down. Riddick on the reception for 8. But they need 2 more for the first down. Willie Tullis, the strong safety, made the stop.
That's just a question of the back with Riddick at that point. He's got to know where he is on the field. He was 2 yards short of the first down. Go beyond that, come back to the marker. You have time to look.
And a punting situation.
They're going to let it go at the end of the quarter.
Yeah, with John Kidd checking in, but first the gun to conclude matters in this first quarter. Quick moving first quarter here at the Hoosier Dome. Capacity crowd better than 60,000 on hand, and the Indianapolis Colts lead it 3-0. You're going to hear a roar here in Indianapolis because Houston has moved in front of Cleveland 10-0. Domingo Bryant on a pass interception. He ran 36 yards for the touchdown. Cleveland quarterback Don Strock has been intercepted 3 times thus far in the first quarter. The fair catch called for by Pryor. 37-yard punt by Kidd as we get underway here in the second, with the Colts leading the Bills by the score of 3-0. There's the roar greeting the scoreboard, presenting the Oilers with a 10-0 lead on the Browns. A win here by the Colts and a loss by the Browns will put the Indianapolis Colts into the playoffs as a wild card. Last drive started on its own 7. This one from the 9 as we are just getting started in the second quarter. On a 52-yard field goal by Dean Biasucci, the Colts lead the Bills 3-0. First down from the 9. Here's Dickerson. This time went the middle. Picked up 4. Jeff Wright on the stop. Now for an update, let's go to Bob Costas and NFL Live.
All right, Marv, you've mentioned what this means to the Colts. Don Strock has been intercepted 3 times in the first quarter, twice by Domingo Bryant. His first interception set up a Zendejas field goal. This one he brings back 36 yards for a touchdown. 10-0 Oilers. If they win, they're ensured home field advantage in the wild card game, and Cleveland is eliminated.
All right, Bob, it's a 2nd down and 5 here back at the Hoosier Dome. Colts from their 14-yard line. Dickerson with the short pickup. And Scott Radisick on the tackle.
I would like to know if someone could ever keep the mileage on Dickerson, the yards he runs behind the line of scrimmage. You're going to see the hole. The hole is supposed to be to the right. Donaldson moves in there, but Dickerson, there's nothing there, so he goes left. There's nothing left, so he goes up the middle. Radisick makes the play. I'd like to know the number of yards that he runs in the course of a year behind the line of scrimmage before he even gets there. He may lead the league in that also.
Our staff will have that for you at the conclusion of the game. 3rd down and 3 at the 16. Look out. Bruce Smith jumping. Let's see if he was drawn.
I'll tell you, this is a late flag. Donaldson, the center, snapped the ball when he saw Bruce Smith off the line of scrimmage. They snapped the ball at Chandler. He stood there. There were no whistles. And finally, a flag came from the right-hand side, or the left-hand side of the offense. Watch what happens. Everybody's standing there. Now, Chandler gets the ball, and he's standing there. Donaldson centered it. Boozer moves in. I mean, they're just standing around.
Encroachment, number 78 defense. First down.
And then the late flag comes.
So the call against Smith.
Didn't I tell you in the opening about a quick move Smith had?
Yes.
Huh?
Paul, you are so perceptive.
Well, you just know that a guy that quick trying to anticipate a call.
And it's a first down at the 21-yard line. Chris Chandler making it back from the bruised right shoulder suffered last week against the Jets. Second play of the game, and Gary Hogaboo went most of the way. Again, the handoff. Dickerson to the outside, and could not make the turn. Cornelius Bennett right with him, but a flag has been thrown. Bennett and Leonard Smith able to chase Dickerson down.
Are they looking at face mask here? Because Dickerson tried to break it outside, and Cornelius Bennett is so quick. You just don't try to run away from him because he's going to catch you.
Everything here remaining the same as we check the ticker. New Orleans now leading Atlanta. The Saints can qualify for the playoffs only as a wild card with a win, while the Rams and Eagles both lose.
55 defense.
Well, it's a face mask on the outside linebacker Cornelius Bennett.
Well, he's got Dickerson by the shoulder pads. Then he just reaches out, and it's incidental contact. He grabs him, or accidental, I guess. Grabbed him by the face mask and got off it. You know, you got that feeling. You know you grab on anything you can.
It is a first down at the 25-yard line. Chandler couldn't find anyone.
They want a penalty on Ray Bentley, who stuck his head in there. Bentley hit him and just moved away. Look at him. He's sitting around. Who, me? I didn't do anything. Now watch at the end of this play. When Chandler slides, you're going to see number 50, Ray Bentley, come in with his helmet. And he hits Chandler. People are still booing right here. But he actually hit his own man, Jeff Wright, 91. So that's no harm, no foul.
Yeah. Second down and 2. Chris Chandler in his rookie season out of University of Washington has been hard hit by injuries, been knocked out of 3 games. Dickerson to the other side for the first down across the 35. 7-yard advance. Talley and Radisic got him down. And Clarence Verdun is down. He is shaken up.
I'm going to tell you something. When you watch Dickerson run, Marv, it's just so beautiful because he actually sets up the block for Verdun on Odom on the outside. When he's running, he's going to make a couple of steps after he breaks it here. Now watch the stutter steps that he makes to set up the outside block. Right here, bing, bing, and then you see Verdun getting the block on 37. Odom picks up 2 more yards.
You hear the thunder.
Today's game is brought to you by Pontiac. We build excitement. By Wendy's Old-Fashioned Hamburgers, the best burgers in the business. And by Goodyear Certified Auto Service. Nobody fits your car like Goodyear.
Welcome back to the Hoosier Dove. Indianapolis, Indiana. Marv Albert, Paul McGuire, producer George Finkel, director Dick Klein, Clarence Verdun. Shaken up a moment ago, now on the sideline. We're told he had the wind knocked out of him, but should be all right. First down at the 36-yard line as Chandler is able to complete. Pat Beach, the tight end, broke the tackle. Picked up 9.
Let's go back to Verdun. You think it's easy playing the wide receiver? Now watch. First of all, Nate Odoms almost rips his jersey off. Now Verdun goes back inside, holds Nate Odoms, and then Darryl Talley falls on his back, and that's when he knocked the wind out of him. It's tough out there.
Particularly when you're 5'8", 160 pounds, and he's listed at 160. Second down and 1 at the 45. The Colts 3, the Bills nothing. Meanwhile, Houston leading Cleveland 10-0 in the second quarter. 10.5 remaining here in the second quarter. Dickerson has the first down. 4-yard advance. Leon Seals on the stop. Let's go back to Bob Costas and NFL Live.
Marv, Don Strock's problems continue in Cleveland. The Browns approaching field goal range, but he's sacked here by Johnny Meads. Spun back into Browns territory. They have to punt. They've moved to early second quarter now. Houston leading the Browns 10-0. Back to Marv and Paul.
All right, Bob, the Colts must win. The Browns must lose. That from the Indianapolis point of view. If Cleveland wins, they would make it by virtue of head-to-head play. They beat the Colts in Cleveland earlier this season. If the Colts and the Browns lose, New England makes it because New England would have the better division record. Hard-charging run by Dickerson for another 4, so it will be a second down and 6.
You know, you said it in the first quarter, Marv, about how effortlessly he runs, and it really doesn't look like Dickerson is moving that fast. But he has so many moves. He sees the entire field. And when he takes a hit, it's not a solid hit. You're only getting pieces of him. You don't get the whole body.
And Clarence Verdun, apparently all right, is back, replacing Matt Bouza. Second down. And they're calling it 7 now at the 48. Play action. Chandler could not find anyone. And Jeff Wright picks up the sack, his 5th sack of the season. Jeff Wright in at nose tackle for Fred Smerlas. The Pro Bowler Smerlas did start the game, but bothered by a knee, so Wright figures to go most of the way.
All right, he's on Dixon, number 69. Gets rid of him. And now Donaldson, the center, why he didn't pick him up, I don't know. But Jeff Wright gets by 2 people and ends up making the sack. This is going to be a great football player. They're really happy about Jeff Wright and what he's done so far this year.
And they see him eventually as the man who will take over for Fred Smerlas. The Bills' 44th sack of the season. They lead the AFC. Their team record is 47. That was back in 1981. Third down and 15 from the 44. Penalty marker down. Chandler again in trouble. Trying to run out of it. And the Bills front 3 coming on. 8 yards for Chandler, but also a marker down.
Offside the Buffalo Bills. You know, talk about Jeff Wright, the heir apparent to Fred Smerlas. The only problem is you're going to have to probably rip Freddie's jersey off him while he's playing in order to get rid of him.
And on the subject of making it to the Pro Bowl, look at this group. The Buffalo Bills with a club record 6 plus an alternate. Darryl Talent.
Offside. Number 97 defense. Still third down.
Offside call on Bruce Smith. So it will be a third down and 9.
And also you got Kent Hull, the center, that also made it on offense.
And the Colts with 3 representatives: Eric Dickerson, Ray Donaldson, Chris Hinton. There are some folks who feel that Donaldson and Hinton, although they've had decent years, have not had the kind of seasons they've had in the past, but still made it to the Pro Bowl.
Question all they want. They're in there. Bruce Smith left the field. We got Pike in there now.
Third and 9 at midfield. Chandler had it deflected. Incomplete. Intended for Bill Brooks. And the punting unit will come on. Just under 8 minutes remaining in this first half. Still 3-0 Colts on the 52-yard field goal by Dean Biasucci. Here's Ron Stark, who has had his ups and downs, and he will punt for the first time today. Has not been as consistent as usual. Errol Tucker is back deep, back at his 10-yard line. Errol Tucker, back from a knee injury, activated today. 5th-round pick of Pittsburgh back in '85, then broke his leg on a punt return. Steelers waived him last year, and now a member of the Buffalo Bills. It's a 50-yard punt.
Just did get into the end zone. Tucker said, wait a minute, what do I have to do? I'm just running over here. Well, he's not signaling for a fair catch. If he signals for a fair catch, you can't hit him. But he didn't signal for a fair catch, and they ran over you, Earl.
You hear the...
There's Buffalo Bills return man Errol Tucker, not happy about that last play, but he never actually gave the signal for the fair catch.
And he wasn't in position to catch the ball either, because the ball goes down, and when you cannot stand around. I mean, without giving a fair catch signal, he could go up and block. He can't give a fair catch signal, Marv, and then go block somebody, because that's not fair to the defensive man coming down. He slows down and you nail him. But as long as he doesn't put up his hand, he's fair game. And they ran him over.
And the punt carried to the end zone, a 50-yard punt. On the touchback, they bring it out. The Colts have owned the football. In fact, they had possession in the first 6.5 minutes of this quarter. They lead 3-0. The Bills to the offense. First down from their 20-yard line.
They got to give it to the horse, Jamie Mueller, number 39, eventually. He ran well last week.
Kelly with the short set. It has Reed coming out of the backfield. Andre Reed out to the 45-yard line. Daniel and Krause on the stop. Now let's get back to Bob Costas in New York.
All right, Marv, a dramatic development in Cleveland. Another defensive touchdown, but this one is scored by the Browns. Michael Dean Perry will pick up the fumble after Dave Grayson hits Warren Moon. Moon was shaken up on the play, remained on the field for several moments. Here's Michael Dean Perry picking it up, going in from 14 yards out. The Browns are alive, trailing 10-7.
All right, Bob, back to the action here following that 24-yard reception by Reed. The pass intended for Burkett. And it will be a 2nd and 10 at the 44. Eugene Daniel on the coverage of Chris Burkett.
When you look at Jim Kelly and all the other quarterbacks in the National Football League, the one thing that Jim Kelly has that the receivers really like, he holds the ball high, Marvin. When it leaves his hand, the receiver can see the ball from the time it leaves Jim Kelly's hand till the time the ball gets there. A lot of quarterbacks will bring it down, then bring it up and throw it. Kelly doesn't do that.
Kelly hands it off to Mueller, who is bottled up. Hit for the loss on the play. Following that 10-5 loss to Tampa Bay, and we have a player down. Jim Kelly took a lot of grief back in Buffalo as you look at Jamie Mueller on the carry. I know he was upset about all the criticism. Letters to the editor and the Buffalo newspapers, the media. Taking shots at him. I wanted to get your reaction, but first we'll take a timeout. Back after this.
Weave your way through this.
Injured Indianapolis Colt Cliff Odom apparently all right. Getting back to the Jim Kelly situation, what is your reaction? Is the criticism justified?
I think one of his major problems, and they really don't talk about it that much, when I watch him play, and if you look at most of his interceptions going into the end zone, I think he has trouble picking up the safeties. He can read the corners very well. He knows when he sees them in man-to-man. He knows when he sees them in zone. But after that, and I think a lot of that comes from a young quarterback like Jim is, who has such a strong arm that he thinks he can get it there no matter what happens. But those happen to be pro football players playing in that secondary. And they're going for the ball. They're reading eyes. They're reading his eyes.
On the other side of the ledger, what if the Bills had a genuine speed receiver?
Help.
I would think that would open things up statistically, and that has been another criticism as Kelly throws the middle. And people are accustomed to the Jim Kelly firing left and right as a member of the Houston Gamblers of the USFL, and maybe more is expected, and this is not that type of offense.
That's true. Now just take a look at Kelly here. Now watch where this ball is going to be. It's going to come up right here, and now they see it. It's almost like a hitch there where the receiver coming across can see the ball, and once it leaves his hand, they see it the entire time.
Punting situation. On the other hand, Jim Kelly and his Buffalo Bills are 12 up and 3 down.
Good team, and he doesn't make the Pro Bowl. Well, he's an alternate.
Well, I can understand that.
Yeah, so can I. Boomer. Boomer made it. Great kick.
Kidd with a boomer on the subject of Boomer. A 55-yard punt. So they'll bring it out to the 20. 6:27 remaining for half. The Colts with a 3-0 lead on the Bills. It is now, as Bob Costas told you a moment ago, 10-7 Houston over Cleveland. The Jets extend to a 10-0 lead on a Ken O'Brien touchdown pass to Mickey Schuler on a 5-yard play. Giants need a win to clinch the division, or a Philadelphia Eagle loss would do it. So the Jets coming off the win over the Colts, looking to play the spoiler. That's a big game for New Orleans in their quest for a wild card position. Pittsburgh over Miami. We're told that Odom a moment ago took a blow to the head and is a question mark as to whether he will return. First down from the 20-yard line, and the Colts go back to the ground. Scott Radisick with the stop of Eric Dickerson.
Remember I talked about before, there's a linebacker following Dickerson wherever he goes. This is a classic example of it. Scott Radisick never moved. When Chandler went back and he handed the ball to Dickerson, Scott Radisick saw the ball coming and just filled in the hole, made the tackle, but again, 2-yard gain.
Eric Dickerson is gunning for his 4th rushing title, which would tie him with Steve Van Buren And O.J. Simpson for the second most in NFL history. Jimmy Brown won the title 8 times. An amazing statistic. Second down and 8. And again, the short advance. Carlton Bailey on the stop.
Another linebacker. Every time he makes that move, wherever he's going to be, the defensive line, their job is to hold up. They're trying to find him also and make the tackle. But those two inside linebackers, whether it's Carlton Bailey, Radisick, or Bentley, their eye is on Dickerson. We can't let him run up the middle on us. That's what they're saying to themselves, because I read their lips.
Third down 5 at the 25. And that is the up-to-date story with Herschel Walker in action. Roger Craig and his 49ers will play this evening at home against the Los Angeles Rams. Third down 5 at the 25. Just under 5 minutes to go, first half. Chandler is hauled down back at the 15-yard line, and the Colts beginning to hear it from the crowd. Darryl Talley making it 2.5 sacks on the season.
All Darryl Talley did was wait till Bruce Smith cleared it out. Dickerson is looking to Bruce Smith. Darryl Talley hesitated for a second, took a straight shot right at Chandler, made the play. No one touched him.
Second sack of the day for the Bills. And now Ron Stark will punt from his 2-yard line. His earlier punt went 50. Errol Tucker, who had an adventure last time he was back there, is now awaiting the punt at the 40. And it is down a 34-yard punt. Coming up at halftime on NFL Live, we go back to our studios in New York. And Bob Costas will be joined by Frank DeFord, who will have an essay on left-handers, Paul.
My brother was a left-hander.
Look, what a fascinating fact that is.
Yeah, it is. I thought so.
Did that affect you in any way?
No.
Psychologically?
No.
First down from the 48. And here's Thurman Thomas. 3-yard advance. He went off hobbling, you may recall, back in the first quarter. Fred Young, who's still in there despite a heel injury, able to make the stop.
The Bills just, they got to do something on first down to throw the ball. Now, the last time they got the ball, they were deep in their territory, the 20-yard line, and they threw to Andre Reed. And now all of a sudden, here they get the ball in excellent field position, and they run just a simple handoff off the right tackle.
Now Johnson is to the left and Reed right. 2nd 7 at midfield. Mueller in motion. Thomas going straight up the middle. Picked up 4 or 5 yards on the play. The right defensive end, John Hand, on the tackle.
Jamie Mueller, I was talking about him earlier. Now here he comes in motion. Now his job is to block. He has to kick out to the outside. That's O'Brien Alston, the linebacker. He gets a piece of him. He does his job. Halistray is down there, number 71. But actually, Jamie Mueller did his job. The play was cut back to the inside, and the defensive line was there.
Mueller had a strong game back in October against the Colts. 70 yards, 15 carries. Third down 3 at the 45. Just under 3 minutes left, first half. Kelly looked off Riddick and then able to complete for the first down. 7-yard pass play with Harmon taken down by the combination of Ball and Miller.
You know, Harmon just has excellent hands. Jim's trying to scream over this crowd, and he looks to his left first. Now he's going to come back to Harmon. And the play by Miller is perfect. Miller can't play it any better. Watch this. There's Harmon. There's Miller right on his back. Harmon goes up. Great hands. Makes the catch. First down. Can't play it any better.
Chucky Miller in his first NFL start. 8th-round draft pick 2 years ago. Then suffered a broken leg. Sat out a year. First down at 38. Coming up on 2 minutes to go. First half. Short set by Kelly. And able to complete. He threw a bullet to Trumaine Johnson, a 13-yard advance, and Johnson doing it in front of Miller. As the clock is stopped, the 2-minute warning provided. 3-0 Colts. Will be back in a moment. Out here in Indianapolis will be reacting in just a moment because the Houston Oilers have moved in front of Cleveland now 13-7 as Tony Zendejas hit again, this time from 42 yards away. So in the second quarter, the Oilers 13 and the Browns 7.
I'm really kind of shaky about that game. I thought that Strzok could come into that game and do a little bit more. 3 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown. Strzok is a better quarterback than that. Of course, he's not used to playing when it's 4 degrees either.
Yes, that is certainly a factor, as the Raiders found out last week as they had an enjoyable time up in Buffalo. And there is the reaction. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Here it's 3-0 Indianapolis. Well, we're in a very comfortable 72-degree frame of mind outside. Not bad, 22 degrees. They have snow in the forecast. Did snow lightly yesterday here in Indianapolis. Thurman Thomas with a 3-yard pickup. It'll be a 2nd and 7. Barry Krause making the tackle.
Now, if you wonder what happened to Fred Young, he used to be with Seattle. Here comes Fred Young. He's reading. Jamie Mueller misses him. He's got his head down. But the block of Joe Devlin not only took out the defensive lineman, Donnell Thompson, 99, but it also got Fred Young. Excellent block by Devlin.
The Bills on the move. 2nd down 7. At the Indianapolis 23, the clock is down to 1 minute and 20 remaining in this first half. Thomas in motion. Kelly off the pump. Wants Thomas to go long, but overthrows. Chuck Miller on the coverage of Thurman Thomas.
Kelly was looking downfield at first. If he throw that ball to Thurman Thomas, as soon as he comes out of the backfield, he's open. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him come back with it, because as soon as Thurman Thomas makes the break, you see Kelly looking straight downfield. There's nothing there. Thomas now is covered. He wasn't covered before, would have been able to pick up at least 5 or 6 yards, and now he almost like he's throwing the ball away. Just didn't have the touch. You've got to stop to throw that, to have the touch to throw that ball in the end zone right on target.
3rd down 7. Kent Hull, the center. Jim Richer, Al Hillestray for the injured Tim Vogler at the guards. Devlin and Wolford at the tackles as Kelly is able to complete. Touchdown! Andre Reed on a 23-yard pass play. And the Buffalo Bills have taken a 6-3 lead on the Indianapolis Colts.
And that's the matchup you want to get. You want to get the strong safety or the free safety, Mike Pryor, one-on-one on Andre Reed. And Kelly looks over there. He sees Reed coming across the middle. Pryor is just way behind Reed, not even close to him. There's no help on the other side. Keith Taylor, number 27, was not even involved in the play, and Reed gets the touchdown. Perfect throw.
So Andre Reed with his 5th touchdown of the season. Kelly has now thrown for 14. And Scott Norwood will attempt the extra point. He's 31 for 31. He's hit his last 73. Make it 74 in a row. The Buffalo Bills take a 7-3 lead.
Andre Reed comes off. Tremaine Johnson's to the outside. He breaks underneath, and when Reed does that, he moves to the inside. All you have now is a free safety as Pryor, number 39. Not even close. In fact, he's backed up into the end zone. You're not going to stop a touchdown into the end zone. Kelly looks right. He looks left to Tremaine. Then he sees Andre Reed. Puts it right down the pipe. Nobody there.
3rd catch of the day for Reed. He has 67 on the season. There are some who felt that he should have made it to the Pro Bowl, but he did not. Having a terrific season. Hurt the Colts in that earlier meeting. Back in Week 6 in Buffalo, Bills came from behind to beat Indianapolis 34-23 in a steady rain at Richard Stadium. That the game you referred to earlier. The Colts led 17-0 in the second quarter. Kelly had an excellent day, 21 for 39, 315 yards. He threw for 3. Well, Houston with that 13-7 lead on Cleveland. The Jets extend 13-0 on the Giants. Second field goal by Pat Leahy, and Philadelphia leads Dallas 10-7. Philly needs a win over the Cowboys and a Giant loss and they would win the NFC East. Elsewhere, New Orleans with a 7-0 lead.
I picked Philadelphia at the beginning of the year, you know, to win a division.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
You're saying it now at the best possible time, is that it?
I had to save it for 16 weeks, you know, to bring that up.
Although still a long way to go this afternoon, Paul.
I know.
Yes.
But I'm happy now, though.
Albert Bentley, George Wansley, Roy Banks back deep for the kickoff from Scott Norwood. The Bills now with a 7-3 lead. And Bentley lets it go. Coming up at halftime, a look at all the scores and highlights from around the NFL with Bob and
Receiving team's ball.
Frank
35-yard line. First
Bob
down.
Rashad. Frank taking that close-up look at left-handers. Some of the great men of our time have been southpaws.
You're right-handed, right?
Yes. That's why I said some of the great men of our time.
My left hand is absolutely useless. I can't do anything with it. The only thing I can do is put my jacket on.
In effect, you could not go to your left.
No, I really couldn't. I got lost. I'd run left, I got lost. So that's why we lived on the right-hand side of the street, so I can get home.
You know, I never thought of that.
I thought of it.
First down for the 35 with 1:07 remaining of the half. Dickerson. The crowd does not go for that. Bruce Smith on the stop. They would like to see Chandler air it out for a last-minute drive. Timeout is called. We'll be back in a moment. Meyer back at the Hoosier Dome. Indianapolis 7-3. Buffalo leading Ron Meyer and his Indianapolis Colts. It is a 2nd and 11 as Dickerson lost the yard of that last play. And the Colts at their 34-yard line. The Colts taking the timeout, so they have 2 remaining. And let's see how Meyer plays it here.
Got to throw the ball and look at the tight end.
And Chandler goes short range, and that's short of the first down. The reception by Dickerson. Darryl Talley on the stop. They are in the hurry up. It'll be a 3rd down and 1. Clock is running. We're coming up on 40 seconds to go in the half. Now Chandler goes the middle, and it's broken up. Intended for Dickerson. Took a hit from the strong safety, Leonard Smith.
And you're in a situation where you now have to punt. You know, I can't imagine why they didn't give the ball to Dickerson, take the first down, get on 1 yard, because they still have 2 timeouts left. Go ahead and use them. The timeouts are no good to them now. They have to punt the ball. They're going to take him into the locker room, and you cannot use them in the second half. So run Dickerson. If he can't get a yard, you'll be in the same situation anyway. Why throw the ball to him over the middle for a 1-yard gain when you know he can run it 1 yard?
And here's Ron Stark inside his 30. 34 seconds to go in the half.
Now get out of the way, Tucker.
And Tucker lets it fly right by. They'll bring it out to the 20. That will go down as a 56-yard punt. And Buffalo from its 20 with a 7-3 lead and 25 seconds remaining. The Buffalo Bills at 12-3. That equals the Bills' team record for most single-season victories. They won 12 back in 1964. Is that your ball club?
You bet it was. We were better. We weren't in as good a shape as these guys, but we were better.
At one point, Marv Levy and his Bills won 7 in a row. They started at 11-1. And this is a team that went 2-14 both in 84 and 85, and the Bills are just going to run out the clock. Clock running down, and they will go to the locker room with a 7-3 lead. Buffalo seeking to clinch home field advantage throughout the playoffs. A win would do it. A loss would mean Cincinnati would have the home field advantage. And we have come to halftime with the score, the Bills 7 And the Colts 3, a 52-yard field goal by Dean Biasucci put Indianapolis on top 3-0. He did miss from 48. And just a moment ago was Jim Kelly to Andre Reed on a 23-yard touchdown pass for the 7-3 lead. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Hi again, everybody. Bob Costas back along with Ahmad Rashad in New York. Let's check on the game that so many of you are interested in. Houston is in front of Cleveland 13-7. There's a delay in the game now because a spectator standing along the edge of the end zone was hit as an incomplete pass was thrown by Warren Moon. Here's a look at it. It goes beyond the receiver. The defender and the receiver each wind up colliding with that gentleman who apparently was a photographer rather than a spectator, driven back into the snowbank, and now he's receiving medical attention, and so the game is delayed. Momentarily, Houston is going to try a field goal. They are well within range. That could increase their lead to 16-7. As it stands now, it's 13-7. Marty Schottenheimer knows that they must win to get a wild card. If they do win, then they host Houston right back in the same ballpark on Saturday. But Don Strock, playing in place of the injured Bernie Kosar, has had a tough time. 3 interceptions, although that one, a possible interception by Steve Brown, was ruled an incomplete pass, so the Browns caught a break. But not here. Here's the interception by Domingo Bryant. He has 2 of the 3 pickoffs by the Oilers. The first led to a Tony Zendejas field goal. That one was run in for a touchdown. It was 10-0 Houston. The Browns show life, however, as Dave Grayson really racks Warren Moon up, and picking the ball up is Michael Dean Perry, the younger brother of Refrigerator Perry. He goes in for the touchdown. After that, Zendejas hit another field goal for Houston, a 42-yarder to make it 13-7, and they are still looking after the photographer along the sideline, so Houston is yet to attempt the apparent field goal. As it stands now, 13-7 in favor of the Oilers. If they win, they eliminate the Browns, and they host the wild card game next week, no matter who the other wild card is.
Bob, Houston's showing a lot of poise in this game. They get up 10-0. They get a big play. Michael Dean Perry runs that fumble back in for a touchdown, but they have not lost their poise. They keep coming right back, and right now they're getting ready to attempt a field goal. But I think something for the fans at a game like this, the fans in Cleveland are throwing snowballs, I mean, which somebody could get hurt. I think they just made the announcement that if they find anybody else throwing snowballs, they're going to eject them out of the stadium. But that's not good sportsmanship, and Houston is going to have to withstand not only the Cleveland team, but the snowballs in order to win this game.
The reason why I'm glancing to the side, I'm trying to see if they're lining up for that field goal. This game is of such importance, so while I continue with this next bit of business, you keep an eye on it for us.
My pleasure.
Jump right in at any moment. Buffalo in front of Indianapolis, as you know, halftime in the climate-controlled atmosphere of the Hoosier Dome, and the Bills trying to secure home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. Lead for Marv Levy 7-3, although throughout most of the first half, the Colt defense stopped them cold. Now, here's the opening kickoff. Ronnie Harmon trying to bring it back, and as he battles to squeeze out extra yardage, he fumbles, and who recovers it but the kicker, Dean Biasucci, which sets up his own 52-yard field goal. It's his 6th field goal of 50 yards or better this year. That's an NFL record. He is simply terrific and has been the premier field goal kicker in the league for the past few years. However, Jim Kelly finally gets it in gear on this 3rd down play. Andre Reed over the middle for the touchdown of 23 yards. Eric Dickerson had a big first half, better than 60 yards rushing, but Buffalo leads it now over Indy 7-3. The Jets and the Giants at the Meadowlands. Technically, it's a Jet home game. You got to be a Jet ticket holder to get in today, and the Jets are in front in this one. Not yet halftime, 13-0. Paul McFadden has missed a couple of makeable field goals for the Giants. That hasn't helped. Pat Leahy has made 2 field goals for the Jets, and Ken O'Brien has thrown a 5-yard touchdown pass to Mickey Schuler. So if the Giants lose this, there's a chance they won't make the playoffs at all. And if the Eagles beat the Cowboys today with a Giant loss, the Eagles would be the champs of the NFC East. Speaking of that situation, the Eagles now lead Dallas after spotting them a 7-0 lead on a 1-yard Herschel Walker run. They've come back to take a 10-7 advantage at Dallas. Randall Cunningham just threw a 12-yard touchdown pass to Keith Jackson. The Saints need help. They got to win and hope for other developments to help them out to sneak in as a wild card. They're in front 7-0 at home over the Falcons on a Bobby Hebert 13-yard touchdown pass to Dalton Hilliard. The Dolphins and the Steelers in a game that means nothing, but it's turning out to be an entertaining contest. Dolphins come in at 6-9 for Don Shula, and there he is in that cold circumstance in Pittsburgh. The Steelers with a 4-11 record as they close out their season. Shula can't be pleased to see this. It's in the hands of Davenport, but it slips through Ron Davenport's hands off the Marino pass, and Dwayne Woodruff intercepts, runs it in 78 yards for a touchdown, and a 7-0 Pittsburgh lead. Miami went in front 10-7, and then Bubby Brister gives it to Merrill Hodge. He hands it to Lewis Lips on the reverse. 39-yard touchdown run for Lips. They often use him on the reverse, so the end around. It's his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season. Watch Marino here. Scott Schwades will make the catch. What a beauty, down to the 1-yard line. Lorenzo Hampton scored from there. A moment later, it was his 2nd rushing touchdown of the game, and the game is even up now at 17. Tampa Bay playing at home against Detroit. It is now gone to halftime. Mixed bag for Vinny Testaverde. He's been intercepted 3 times, bringing his league-leading total to 35, but he's also thrown for a couple of touchdowns, each a 31-yarder, one to Bruce Hill and the other to Mark Carrier. The Bucks in a battle of 4-11 teams, leading the Lions 14-0. Before we go to this break,
they have not removed the cameraman from the field yet, so the play is still stopped.
They have not yet attempted the field goal. There are 2 minutes and 21 seconds to play in the first half in Cleveland, with Houston in front of the game 13-7, and they are still looking after the gentleman who was hurt in the collision with one Oiler player and a member of the Browns, so we'll have to keep you posted on what's happening there. We'll take this station break, and we'll come back following these messages.
Okay, Bob, back at the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, the Buffalo Bills with a late score as Jim Kelly connected with Andre Reed, now leading the Indianapolis Colts by the score of 7-3. And we'll be back here in Indianapolis in a moment. Bills, despite the loss of several of their defensive standouts, Shane Conlon and Art Still did not dress today because of injuries. Fred Smerlas dressed but left after the first couple of plays because of an knee injury. Despite all that, have played well. At halftime, they have a 7-3 lead over the Colts.
And I've said this so many times, the most meaningless stat is time of possession. You look at the Colts with almost 19 minutes in the first half of the ball game, and they've got 3 points out of the deal, even with Bills with a turnover. It doesn't make any difference how much time you have the ball. It's what you do with the ball when you have it. And obviously the Colts have not been able to do anything. They got the field goal after the fumble of the kickoff, couldn't move the ball, 3 straight downs, and then kicked the field goal.
And Eric Dickerson with 63 yards on 18 carries, averaging 3.5 per carry as we get set for the second half kickoff. Kelly to Reed on a 23-yard touchdown with a minute to go in the half. And the Colts on the board with that 52-yard field goal by Biasucci following the fumble on the kickoff by Harmon. And there is Art Still, who is out with a knee problem. He has played well, 33-year-old out of University of Kentucky. Shane Conlon sidelined with a foot injury. Tim Vogler, the right guard, is through for the season. He will undergo knee surgery, and Dale Hellestray has taken over the position and has played well. And the Buffalo Bills playing for home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Need a victory here today. While the season is on the line for the Indianapolis Colts, they must win. The Browns must lose to make it as the wild card. The second half kickoff, sponsored by Budweiser, the king of beers. Albert Bentley is back deep as Scott Norwood kicks it off. And here's Bentley, and he decides to stay right there. That is only the 5th touchback of the season for Scott Norwood.
And they're also, the #1 team on kickoff, against the kickoff return.
They have done very well, particularly last week against the Raiders. Bills did an excellent job holding Tim Brown in check. Now Indianapolis starting out from the 20. Chris Chandler starting at quarterback today despite the bruised right shoulder. Gary Hogeboom went most of the way last week. Starts off with Dickerson to the 24-yard line, so an advance of 4.
Did I hear a boo?
Well, the crowd has been a little testy, not only in the final minute when Ron Meyer kept it on the ground, but there were some moments earlier, because it has been primarily Eric Dickerson left, right, and up the middle.
But you know, when you look at a game and you see Eric Dickerson carry the ball as many times as he does, the interesting thing about it, he only averages somewhere around 24, 25 carries a ball game. At the beginning of the game, it seems like he carries it in the first series.
And here is Dickerson, this time a big hole for the first down. Out to the 35. 11-yard run. Bennett on the tackle.
Remember in the first half I told you he does not give you a full shot at him when you hit him. Cornelius Bennett's going to hit Eric Dickerson, but watch where Cornelius Bennett ends up. He's going to hit Dickerson now. And another 6 yards later, Eric Dickerson is down the field. He does not give you his whole body.
And he has bounced back from the 42-yard performance against the Jets last week. He has not been running well in recent weeks, except for that Miami game when he had 169 yards, and has certainly done the job here today. Another 9 for Dickerson, and we have a punch-out between Matt Bouza and Nate Odoms going at each other pretty good. Penalty marker is down. Matt Bouza and Nate Odoms going at close quarters.
The offensive line play, they do a job. Look at, they just drive everybody off the line of scrimmage. I mean, down the field about 4 or 5 yards. Bentley shot the gap, missed when Dickerson.
For 37 defense, number 85 offense, second down.
Dickerson cuts back in, brings up the yardage. If you're good, I think this is the most ridiculous call in football. I mean, why throw the flag if you're going to call it on both guys? Warn them, get on with the game.
Well, the choices are warning or ejection, and Odoms and Bouza were slugging away pretty good. That's one of the more active football fights you will see, although you're going to hit helmet and pad, and you're going to hit your hand, so offsetting penalties. It is a second down and 1, and Dickerson has the first down to the 49.
Here's another time. I told you the time before where Dickerson cut back inside, Bentley overshot it. Here comes Bentley again. Now, the line play, they're getting off at the ball. Double teaming right on a nose tackle. C-50 comes shooting in, overruns the play. Dickerson just cuts back to the inside and picks up 5 yards. Leon Seals, number 96, makes the play. But it's twice that Bentley has taken himself out of the play by trying to run straight at him. You've got to be controlled when you're going to make a tackle on Dickerson.
And Dickerson getting the holes today. The Indianapolis offensive line has done a nice job. First down from midfield. That's Bouza in motion. And Chandler to throw. It is, let's see, Bill Brooks ruled incomplete, but he trapped it.
Billy, you got to understand, this is not baseball. This is not a one-hopper here. Brooks is downfield. He's covered by Derek Burrows, and his job is to go down, run Burrows off, and come back to the ball. Now watch where the ball hits. Whoa, wait a minute. I'm going to tell you, they may have to take a look at this thing because his hands are underneath. I guarantee you they're going to take another look at this. They have to. Unless in this angle, it's different. But his hands, no, they're apart. The ball hit the ground. From the side angle, it looked like his hands were underneath the ball, but the ball actually hit the ground between his hands. Good call.
They will not look at it.
That's right.
Second down and 10.
Because we looked at it.
Chandler throwing deep for Brooks. Off the mark. And he was covered by Derek Burrows. It will set it to a 3rd and 10 for Chris Chandler.
Oh, yeah, I wonder sometimes. Derek Burrows, this is just tremendous coverage by the corner, number 29 on Brooks, number 80. And at the last second, he's reading his eyes. He sees that he's looking for the ball, reaching for the ball. Burrows gets between he and the ball. But you take the ball from the 20, and you move the ball to the 50 with Dickerson running the football. Now, Dickerson is not tired. You throw 2 pass plays, and now you have trouble.
And now the Colts have Verdun to the left. Flank wide left side. Bouza in the slot. Back to the ground for Dickerson. Jeff White, the nose nose tackle.
This ball.
After the 8-yard run, it'll be a 4th down and 2.
I'm coaching again. All right, let's take a look. Hall and Nutt, they're on the right-hand side. Excellent block on Cornelius Bennett because he can't get a full shot at Dickerson. Dickerson runs through him. Jeff Wright, number 91, is going to end up making the play. But that's an 8-yard gain. And they're not. Thank you. I just did some coaching.
Nice going, Paul. They will go for it.
They heard it.
Meanwhile, Dickerson with 101 yards for his 8th 100-yard game of the season. 4th and 2. 4 minutes in, 3rd quarter. Dickerson going wide.
He didn't make it. Well, that marker on the other side, the chains are on this side of the field. He had to get the ball inside the 41. And that ball is marked inside the 41. But they're going to be about half the ball short. Yeah, they are. Bill's ball.
So the Colts lose it on downs. Ron Meyer going for the 4th and 2, and they fall shy of the 1st down. A timeout taken. We'll be back after this. Dwyer from the Hoosier Dome. The Colts' 7th sellout in 8 home games. Only the Tampa Bay game did not sell out. The Colts trailing Buffalo 7-3. 4 minutes gone by. In the 3rd quarter, the handoff to Thurman Thomas as the Buffalo Bills go back to the offense. And he's stopped by the nose tackle, Harvey Armstrong.
All right, let's go back to the Dickerson play. Albert Bentley doesn't get a block because Nate Odoms really does the job. He doesn't make the tackle, but he strings Dickerson out. To the left of your screen, he's coming in now. 37 is right there, Nate Odoms. When he forces it out, it gets Kelso a chance and Bruce Smith a chance to get upfield. All they wanted to do was to get Dickerson running sideways so they can get the support. He did his job.
The Bills now with a 2nd down and 8. And their offense has not done much. Oh, a hard hit on Jamie Mueller, able to hang on. Only a 1-yard advance. Maybe 2. Eugene Daniel, the right corner, with that hit.
I don't know how Jamie Mueller holds on to this ball unless it was knocked back into him. Look at this. It's on the tips of his fingers, and Daniel just nails him. Jamie Mueller hangs on to the football for a 2-yard gain, and he felt it.
3rd down and 5, and the crowd urging the Indianapolis defensive unit on. Mel Thompson, Harvey Armstrong, John Hand up front. With the screen for nothing. Loss of 3. So Harmon made the catch, but he lost. And it will be a punting situation for Buffalo.
John Hand, the defensive end, played it beautifully. He stayed there when he saw Harmon drop back into the backfield, read the screen, and made the tackle. Super defense.
Clarence Verdun back for this John Kidd punt. Kidd from inside his 30. Here is Verdun to the 20. Penalty marker down. As Verdun battles his way to the 28, a 42-yard punt and a 14-yard return by the man who's 2nd in punt returns in the AFC, the 5'8" Clarence Verdun.
And Eugene Daniel, number 38, clipped or hit in the back above the waist behind all that stuff on Kelso. Or not on Kelso, excuse me. It was on Steve Tasker, number 89. It'll be Eugene Daniel, 38.
Illegal block during the return, number 38 receiving team at this spot. That will be accepted. We also had an illegal block, number 48 receiving team from that spot. That will be declined. 1st down.
So the ball is being spotted. Let's see, they are marking it back now. We'll pick up the spot when we return as a timeout is taken. They're putting it just outside the 12. We'll be right. Well, the Colts have not done much thus far today against the AFC's top-ranked defensive unit, and they take over at the 13-yard line. Meanwhile, Houston still leading Cleveland 16-7 in the third quarter. First down at the 13. The Bills 7 and the Colts 3. Dickerson finding a hole. Gets across the 25 for a first down. Burrows on the stop of Dickerson, who went for 13. That's his longest run of the day.
Question in the paper today was who was going to block Cornelius Bennett. Now Boyer, number 84, there he is. He's blocking Cornelius Bennett. Cornelius Bennett, and he's also holding Cornelius Bennett by the left arm. And it's very difficult to make a tackle on Dickerson when you have two arms, but when you only have one, it's almost impossible.
Eric Dickerson has run for 115 yards on 25 carries. First down at the 26. And again, Dickerson picked up a couple. Radisic on the stop.
Now that time Bentley on the right-hand side of the defense forced upfield, so he made Dickerson cut back. When he did, Radisic was just sitting right in the hole waiting on him. But it's strange. He still picks up 2 or 3 yards, and it looks like, most backs get nothing. He gets something. On the right-hand side, left-hand side of the screen, you see Bentley come up. Once he does, and then Radisic's on this side, there's nobody to block him, so he waits for the play and makes it.
2nd and 8 from the Indianapolis 28. Bouza to the right. And it's Chandler on a fake handoff that did not fool anyone. Perhaps it fooled his teammates.
Well, either he went the wrong way or Eric Dickerson went the wrong way. Somebody messed it up in the backfield. Because when Chandler went back to hand it to Dickerson, Dickerson didn't happen to be there. Now watch what happens. He comes back, he's going to spin, he's going to his left. Whoops, Eric went to his right, and Eric went the wrong way. And this is what gets quarterbacks killed.
And it sets it back to a 3rd down and 9. Burdan is now to the left. Time, and Mark Bellini could not hold on. That's the first time he has looked in the direction of the backup wide receiver, Mark Bellini. 16-7. Houston's, and Dejas has now kicked 3. Giants scoring on a Sims to a Stephen touchdown Baker touchdown. And if things stay the way you see right there with Philadelphia winning and the Giants losing, the Eagles would win the division. New Orleans with the lead. Pittsburgh over Miami. Tampa Bay in a meaningless game leading Detroit. Errol Tucker has dropped back for this run, start, punt. Another quickie series for the Colts. Good hang time by Stark. And here's Tucker from his 30. 46-yard punt. And only a 6-yard return. Barry Krause on the tackle with 6:31 remaining. Third quarter. The Bills 7. The Colts 3. This week against the Jets after Chris Chandler was hurt. Can you see a change up coming on part of Ron Meyer?
No, not after that last pass that Chandler threw. Now, he threw the ball to Bellini, and he just dropped the ball. He hit him right in the hands with the ball. He also had Bouza open across the middle, and that's not a quarterback's fault when a man drops the ball.
But Buffalo takes over at the 32. 6.5 left, third quarter. And Kelly able to complete and has a first down. Thurman Thomas for 17. Mike Pryor, the free safety, on the stop of the rookie out of Oklahoma State.
Now look at the middle blocking. Ken Hall, who is the all-pro center of the Buffalo Bills, getting some help. Jim Richard. When you have a receiver like Thurman Thomas wide open like he was there, there's just no chance of defending against him.
The Bills first down from the 49. Buffalo 7. Indianapolis 3. Kelly is 3 for 3. Make it 4 for 4 in this third quarter as Riddick runs for the first down. 13 more
on the pass play. The outside linebacker, O'Brien Alston, stopping Rob Riddick.
Kelly just sees Riddick. He circles out of the backfield, and no one's covering Riddick. You dump the ball to Riddick on a 4-yard pattern. Just no way that you can stay with him. Barry Krause is a linebacker trying to keep up with Riddick. Can't do it. Brian Alston's off the field.
Alston shaken up, 10th round draft pick out of Maryland. And has had an outstanding season. Orlando Lowry has come on at the outside linebacker position for Alston. First down at the Colt 38. Back to the ground for Mueller. And he's stacked up. A yard on the play for Jamie Mueller.
You know, sometimes you question play calling, and we did it with the Colts, and I'm going to do it here with the Bills. They just moved the ball right down the field, throwing the football. It's wide open. Go ahead and throw the ball. You've got to throw. If something works, you keep doing it until they stop it. When they stop it, you go back to something else.
2nd and 9 at the Colt 37. And Kelly will throw. Throwing deep. Intended for Tremaine Johnson, covered by the strong safety, Willie Tullis.
Well, Houston with that 16-7 lead on Cleveland. Don Struck having his difficulties, intercepted 3 times, 1 return for a touchdown.
And fumbled once. You know, when I talked about Kelly not reading the secondary safety, he threw the ball that time to the only man that had 3 people covering him. There were one-on-one coverage on the outside, and he threw to the man that had 2 safeties and a linebacker on it.
And now he is looking at a 3rd and 9 out of the shotgun. Saw the opening and then dumps it off. But penalty marker is down.
The pressure was on Kelly, and he threw the ball, and Kent Hall saw it. The natural reaction for anyone, if you play this game, it all involves the football. And Kent Hall knows, here comes the pressure. Pickett's coming in from one side, hands in there. Number 79 is Armstrong is there. But when he throws the ball to Kent Hall, his natural reaction is, you know, I got to reach for it. Yeah. I'm a center. I touch the ball all the time.
Ineligible receiver, Kent Hall. And here is Kidd coming on to punt for the 5th time. Mike Pryor is back. They will use him in fair catch situations because he is sure-handed. 4:20 to go in this 3rd quarter. Kidd pops it high. So it's a 34-yard punt. The catch made by Steve Tasker. And we'll take a timeout back after this. Scores a balmy 72 degrees outside. 22 degrees. They do expect some snow. And your hometown of Buffalo, 19 degrees, not bad.
Beautiful, just like summer. Hey, it's beautiful there.
And a first down from the 3 as the Colts take over. 4:14 remaining in this 3rd quarter. Chandler on the screen for Dickerson. Gets out to the 9-yard line.
You run a screen, you've got 2 offensive linemen out in front, Ray Donaldson and Randy Dixon, and they don't block anybody. Watch this. There's 53 going out. 69 is Dixon, Donaldson. Watch this. Hit somebody.
Well, it's nice to see you don't get excited about this game. Second down and 3. Dickerson. Cut to the outside for the first down. He Picked up 5. Derek Burrows on the stop.
And man, does Dickerson set up Boyer to block Cornelius Bennett. Dickerson dips to the inside. Boyer 84, 55's Cornelius Bennett. Watch this dip by Dickerson. Right here. Now he sets him up. Boyer makes the play. Dickerson pops back to the outside and gets a first down. That's beautiful.
122 yards, 27 carries for Eric Dickerson. We're just under 3 minutes remaining in the third. Buffalo still with a 7-3 lead. They only score that early field goal from 52 yards away by Biasucci. And here's a reverse. Verdun cuts back. And it did not work. Derek Burrows right there, and that's a loss of 6.
This reverse really never had a chance because of the penetration of the Buffalo Bills defense. Now watch it right here. You're going to see Jeff Wright. Here he is. He's the guy that turns Verdun back the other way. When he does that, Burrows is actually blitzing, and he comes back and makes the play for a loss. That's super defense. That's why they're number 1 in the AFC.
And they're doing it today without Fred Smerlas, Art Still, and Shane Conlon.
They don't lose a lot, Marv. They really don't. And that's the depth of this defense.
2nd and 15 back at the 10. Matt Bouza has checked back in. Chandler is hit down. He was walloped, and he is hurt. Bruce Smith with sack number 11 on the season. Chris Chandler now being checked over as Gary Hogeboom makes his way on. He has been knocked out of 3 games, including the earlier meeting against Buffalo. He's had a bruised shoulder, a bruised sternum, suffered a concussion. Last week, bruised his right shoulder on the 2nd play of the game against the Jets, and then left after going 0 for 4. Hogeboom came on, but he took a real hard pop.
Well, Bruce Smith just runs right by Chris Hinton. Chris Hinton really doesn't even slow him down. On the top of the screen, 75 is Hinton. Watch this. Bruce Smith goes around him and then hits him. Chandler right from the backside. I mean, just nails him. Puts his helmet right in his back. The quickness of that man. We saw him play the run. We see him play against the pass. Now you know why he's Pro Bowl material.
Has tremendous explosion. And for the moment, he is leading the AFC with 11 sacks. Second half of the doubleheader here on NBC. Seattle and the LA Raiders playing for the AFC West. The winner wins the West, goes to the playoffs. Or some of you will see Kansas City and San Diego. That's right here on NBC. All right, here's another look at it as Chris Chandler is still down. He was sacked at the 1 by Bruce Smith.
Left of the screen. Dickerson's looking for the linebacker blitzing. And you see Hinton really never slowed down Bruce Smith. And he was there and hits Chandler in the back with his helmet. It's a legal play. But when you don't expect anybody from the backside, you expect him coming up in front where you may be able to get, with a little bit of peripheral vision, get a chance to see a piece of the guy coming, unload the ball. But he never saw Smith.
Anxious moments for Chris Chandler and the Indianapolis Colts. Chandler, the rookie, a 3rd-round draft pick, the Colts' first pick in the draft from the University of Washington, and a big quarterback, 6'4", 210 pounds.
I got that NFC pretty much straightened out. Ready?
Yeah.
Why do you look so enthusiastic? If Philly wins and the Giants lose, then the 49ers have to beat the Rams in order for the Giants to get in. How do you like that?
Well, I'll agree with whatever you say.
I got that from George Finkel in the truck. He's so smart.
But if the Giants beat the Jets, they take the division championship. The Giants can be the wild card if they lose, but the Rams would have to lose tonight. Now, that'd be based on the overall record and a win over New Orleans. Now, the Eagles would be a wild card at 10-6 or 9-7, based on a win with the Saints and Rams in a multiple tie. And you would still have all kinds of permutations if you follow what I'm talking about, Paul.
Everything until you said permutations.
So,
I didn't get that. That's the part I didn't get.
All right, here's Hogaboom replacing a dazed Chris Chandler. So Gary Hogaboom played 3 quarters last week against the Jets, went 16 for 30, intercepted 3 times. So this is KO number 4 for Chris Chandler. He has been knocked out now on 4 separate occasions, and Hogaboom has to start out in a 3rd down and 24 from the 1.
Yeah, this is a nice situation to be in. Eric, where are you, Eric?
Minute and a half left, 3rd quarter. Bills 7-3 lead over the Colts, and here is Dickerson running it out on the slant, gets out to the 7.
See Leonard Smith come up and make the play. No arm tackling. I'm going to jump on your head.
And the punting unit coming on as Chris Chandler is still trying to figure out what happened to him moments ago.
There's Leonard Smith. I'm going to jump on your head, get every piece of your body I can get, and hope for some help.
Ron Stark will punt from his end zone, his 5th punt of the day. He's had a good day, averaging just under 47 yards per punt. And that is Errol Tucker at midfield. Here comes Tucker. 40-yard punt. And a 12-yard return. O'Brien Alston on the stop of Tucker.
It's an end over end kick. It was not a very good kick. But when Tucker gets the move now, O'Brien Alston's going to make the play. And when he hits him with his arm right here, now watch, Tucker really never hits his knees on the ground. And that's what the official behind was waiting on. That's excellent balance and a good, strong left hand.
Ineligible downfield. Number 26, kicking team. Penalty decline. 1st down.
All right, that call against Craig Swope. And as you heard, it was declined. So a 1st down as the Buffalo Bills start out at the Indianapolis Colts 37-yard line with a half-minute left in the 3rd quarter. Kelly throwing on 1st down. He has Reed. Andre Reed with the stutter step move. Eugene Daniel on the stop, picked up 9. Andre Reed making it back from the knee problem, his 4th catch of the day.
The Indianapolis Colts are defensive secondary. They're just sitting back. They're giving, well, that'll be the end of the quarter, but they're giving the 8 to 10-yard pass play. And on that play, the Bills took it.
Word on Chris Chandler, who took that hard hit to the head. It's uncertain as to whether he will return. We'll be back after these words from your local station. And we're getting set to get underway here in the 4th quarter. This game, the property of the National Football League. Buffalo Bills, Indianapolis Colts, all rights reserved. 2nd down and 1. And Jamie Mueller has the 1st down. Jamie Mueller in his 2nd season out of Benedictine in Atchison, Kansas. The Ravens of Benedictine.
I talked to him this week, and Jamie Mueller said he's never had the perfect game, and he doesn't know anyone that's ever had the perfect game.
You buy that?
Yep, I agree with it. I don't think there's such a thing as a perfect game. He said to him the perfect game is if I was blocking a guy by the sidelines, I knocked it clear out of the sidelines. If I'm blocking a guy in the middle of the field, I put him on his back, and every time I ran the ball, I went for a touchdown.
1st down now at the 21-yard line as Kelly unleashes a beautiful pass. Again, Andre Reed on the reception. 15-yard hookup and another Buffalo 1st down. Houston maintaining that 16-7 lead on Cleveland. The Jets continue to provide problems. And Philadelphia leading Dallas 17-7 in the 3rd. New Orleans with that 7-6 lead. Pittsburgh over Miami. Tampa Bay leads Detroit. It is a 1st and goal at the 7. Thomas and Mueller are the running backs. Here's Thomas. Stopped at the line. Mel Thompson on the tackle. The Colts must win here today, and the Browns must lose to Houston for Indianapolis to make it as a wild card. If Cleveland comes from behind and wins, they make it by virtue of head-to-head play. They beat the Colts earlier in the year. Now both the Colts and the Browns lose. Guess what? The New England Patriots are the wild card ball club. They have the better conference record. Here's Kelly for the end zone. Touchdown. Again, it is Andre Reed, a 6-yard touchdown pass play. So Reed has caught his second of the day. He had a 2-touchdown game against the Colts earlier in the year.
And they picked on a young man. It's his first game. Chucky Miller, number 28. And watch this, Reed. Real quick move to the outside, back to the inside. No help inside at all. One-on-one coverage out there. 97 O'Brien Austin, who is a linebacker, never got back deep enough, and that's a touchdown. Beautiful play.
And Andre Reed is having a terrific day. His 6th catch, 85 yards. Here's Scott Norwood, who has hit his last now 75 straight extra points. So it's the Bills with a 14-3 lead. We'll be right back. To 13 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, and the season is on the line for the Indianapolis Colts. Kelly to Reed for a second touchdown pass combination. And now the Buffalo Bills have a 14-3 lead on the Indianapolis Colts. The kickoff from Scott Norwood. Short kick. Here's Roy Banks letting it go. And it is now Houston over Cleveland, 23-7. And some words between the Colts and the Bills.
See that situation right there? Always keep your helmet on. All right, Butch Roll, number 87, who is the backup tight end, comes downfield, and that's Ball, number 31. And it's a great dance step. I'll throw you, and a flip. That's beautiful. Bentley saying, why didn't you throw our guy? All right, here we go. Kelly to Reed, and he just reads it perfectly. Andre Reed coming in. Super pass. Look at it, right in the stomach. Can't throw it any better than that, folks.
Unnecessary roughness, number 79 receiving team. After the ball was kicked off out of bounds, an unnecessary hit. Ball in play in the 20-yard line. First down.
Wait. They got him for unnecessary roughness? Did you see what Butch Roll did?
Well, Harvey Armstrong agrees with your point. Here's a look at it.
Well, that's Sherman Cockcroft right there, and he hits him out of bounds afterwards. But they missed something way upfield. Butch Roll.
1st and 10 from the 20. Warren Moon on a 7-yard touchdown pass to Hayward Jeffries. And the Oilers now 23-7 over the Browns in the third quarter. Tight end Pat Beach stopped by Ray Bentley. It's all well and good with Houston rolling up the score on the Browns, but it will not mean anything for the Indianapolis Colts if they are not able to come from behind.
Cornelius jumping up. He just has a great time. This guy loves to play. Cornelius Bennett, watch this. Ole, get out of my way. That was Ben Hutt, number 64, that he threw out of the way. He's throwing people all over the place. They spin here a lot easier than they do on grass. You know?
2nd down and 3 at the 27. Dickerson. He made the read, try to go outside, and went for 4. And a first down. Leon Seals pushed him out. Gary Hogeboom has come on for the injured Chris Chandler. Took a hard shot from Bruce Smith in that last series back at the goal line. First down at the 32.
Now Hogeboom will use his tight end a lot more than Chandler will. Chandler likes to throw the backs and likes to throw the wide receivers. But Hogeboom knows that those tight ends are your outlet people, and they'll get you that 5 and 6 yards.
That was only the second catch for the tight end Beach.
How about this one?
Incomplete. Beach could not hang on. Covered by the strong safety Leonard Smith.
See, Hogeboom is going to go to the people that he knows that they're going to be covering one-on-one. Now, that time they had Leonard Smith, the strong safety, ended up on Beach, so he has him one-on-one coverage. Now, Beach is coming all the way across the field. This is excellent coverage by Leonard Smith because of the distance that he has to travel. Look at how fast he closes on Beach. Beautiful. They must have had the Houston score up again, but it won't make any difference because this team happens to be down by 11 points, which is 2 touchdowns.
2nd and 10. Off the draw, nothing. Dickerson stopped behind the line, and the crowd now showing its dissatisfaction with the home club. Leon Seals on the stop. There it is, off the touchdown pass from Warren Moon, a 23-7 lead. And if all this holds up, if the Browns lose and the Colts lose, it is hello New England, and the wild card will be the Patriots and the Oilers.
Wonder who'll be the quarterback. Tony Eason, Grogan,
Eason ended up on, he ended up on crutches yesterday, so maybe looking at Grogan or Flutie if that does hold up. Bill Brooks on the reception, but held short of the first down. 11-yard play.
I'll tell you what, they gave him one of the greatest marks, Billy Brooks, you're ever going to get in your entire life. Now the ball is at the 42-yard line. Now watch where Brooks gets hit. Now here he is at the 36, 37, 38, 40, 41, and that's it. Now ball is marked right on the line at the 42. That's a whole 1 yard extra thing, isn't it?
Good effort, though, by Brooks.
It was a great effort.
And he picked it up. So Bill Brooks reaching out to the spot and did pick it up.
I just can't believe that spot. I mean, it was a great effort by Brooks. He did. He picked up 5 extra yards, and he's not that big, but you don't give him 6.
And a first down at the 42. 10 minutes to go. 4th quarter. The Bills 14 and the Colts 3. Now Brooks comes in motion. And Hogeboom again has Brooks. Nice spin to midfield. 9 on the play. It will be a 2nd down and 1. And for the first time, the Indianapolis offense is cooking aside from Eric Dickerson.
Yeah, look at Hogeboom saying, come on. He said, the clock's running. You don't need time to be shaking hands. Ron Meyer saying, well, just take your time. There is no time. You got 9 minutes and 27 and counting. And Hogeboom knows, give me the play. Let me get on with it. Or let me call my own play.
2nd and 1. Now to Dickerson, and he has the first down. Ray Bentley on the stop, and we're down to 9 minutes left in this 4th quarter.
And here was Bentley again. They'll move Dickerson. Boyer will take him to the outside. Call blocks downfield. And here comes Bentley. He's there, but see what Dickerson does? He turns on you to only give you a piece. You don't get all of him. He picks up 4 yards in the first down. But Bentley definitely had him in the backfield.
135 yards now for Dickerson. Hogeboom standing in. A flag is thrown. Incomplete. Pass intended for Mark Boyer. Covered by the corner, Nate Odoms.
And there's going to be pass interference because one of the back judges or sideline judges or the judge on the side, whatever that judge is, he threw a flag. It's judge over here.
All right, here's Jerry Seaman.
Offside, number 78 defense, penalty decline. Pass interference, number 36 defense, penalty accepted. First down.
Well, it's got to be 37.
It is Nate Odoms. The other penalty on Bruce Smith declined.
They don't have a 36 on a Bills team. Here it is to the outside, right of your screen. Nate Odoms was there just a little bit too soon on Boyer. Boyer already knew it, and they're looking. Nate Odoms thinks, well, this guy on the side didn't call it, who happens to be the side judge because I got him right. But it came from downfield.
The early penalty on Smith declined, and then Odoms on the interference accepted. First down at the 39. 8.5 remaining in this fourth quarter. That's Booza in motion, followed by Odoms. And it's blocked solidly by Leon Seals. An emphatic rejection by Seals, second-year man from Jackson State. They called him Dr. Sack in his collegiate days, a fourth-round draft pick a year ago.
And he just times this perfectly. Look at Leon Seals, gets up right in the face of the offensive lineman. Now, the offensive lineman blocking him that time is Kevin Call, who stayed back. Now, Seals was off the line of scrimmage. When Leon saw Hogaboom cock his arm to throw, he just timed it perfectly, went up, knocked the ball away.
Brooks to the right, Booza left, second down and 10. And Hogaboom completes. Again, the tight end beat, but short of the first down. An advance of 6. Leonard Smith on the stop.
The Bills sent everybody that time. They had the blitz coming. Hogaboom read it. Looked for his tight end coming across. Again, excellent coverage by Smith here, but look at Beach. He's clearing out. Smith is closing on him. The pass is caught, but he keeps Beach from getting the first down. It is 3rd and 3. This is also 4th down territory, pal.
Hogaboom is 4 for 6. Clock running, just under 8 remaining, fourth quarter. Dickerson running for the marker. Look out.
Oh, I'm sorry, but Mark Kelso came up to put a hit on Dickerson, and Dickerson has got the greatest forearm shiver, I guess is the old expression, that you've ever seen. Watch Dickerson's right arm hit number 38, Mark Kelso. Bam, right here. Get away from me.
However, he's short of the first down. It's a 4th and 3. Colts went for it earlier in the game and did not make it, you may recall, in a 4th down situation.
Well, I wouldn't go wide here. I'd go straight up. If I'm going to go, I'm going to go up the middle with Dickerson. We'll go throw.
Big play. Hogaboom has the first down. That's 6 on the play. And the Colt drive continues. So Brooks with the catch, Bentley on the hit, and with Hogaboom coming on for Chandler, the Colts moving well.
You have no idea what a great catch. Watch how Hogaboom just fires this ball, and Brooks with his hands. Bentley is there, number 50, but Brooks just reaches up and grabs it, and that was a 4th down play.
It'll be a first down at the 26. Hogaboom got the time. Incomplete. Look out. Dickerson taken down after the play by Bentley. It will be 2nd and 10 at the 26. The Bills 14, the Colts 3. 7:04 remaining in this fourth quarter. The Colts need a victory plus a Cleveland defeat to make the playoffs. Ray Donaldson to the sideline, and this is the first time in 3 years that he has missed an offensive play as Brian Baldinger has come on, replacing him at center. Dickerson, again the stiff arm move. Dickerson running well for 13 and another Indianapolis first down. It was pushed out by Nate Odom.
Now, Marv, this was not a safety that Eric Dickerson hit. This was Darryl Talley, the right side linebacker, number 56 of the Buffalo Bills, and he has a shot at him to stop this play. Here comes the right arm. Bam! In your face. A lot of power. Now, he might have been out of bounds. Now, you got to take a look at this thing again. Right there, is as close as you're going to get. He is out of bounds on a line, and are they going to take a look at it? Hogaboom now waiting on a play. They're going to call a timeout, and they may look upstairs because he did step out of bounds about 2 yards or 3 yards short of the first down.
That is Indianapolis' first timeout.
All right, they will check it out. It is now Houston 23, Cleveland 14. Don Strock to Ernest Biner on a 3-yard touchdown pass play. We'll be back here at the Hoosier Dome in a moment.
You wouldn't believe the stuff my dad had to do to get his hands on his dream machine.
All right, folks, we're going to give you 2 angles of it. Look at his left foot, Dickerson. Right here is the plant at the 20. Now, that looks out of bounds. But remember, the camera is off to the left. Now, take a look at this one. Here's the other angle. Dickerson right at the 20, his left foot. Get that guy with his big head in the way. But it still looks like it's out of bounds. And they are reviewing it, and nothing happened. They're going to keep it. Wait a minute. Yeah, they're going to keep it right there because it is inconclusive.
That is the key word, and you've touched upon it again, Paul.
Is it inconclusive?
Yes.
Or we don't have the guts to bring it back?
No, inconclusive. Very nice, Paul. First down at the 15, 14th play of the drive, just under 7 minutes remaining, fourth quarter. And Hogaboom with a bullet as Bentley down at the 5. Albert Bentley for 10 more.
Gary Hogaboom, why didn't you start the game for the Colts? Here he comes, and he just fires this ball. Bruce Smith can't get in there. He hits Bentley, who is wide open. Cornelius Bennett and the other linebacker, Ray Bentley, are way downfield, so their job was the coverage on Albert Bentley. Didn't work.
Bills 14, Colts 3. Hogaboom with impressive stats, moving the club. First and goal at the 5. Out of the ground, here's Dickerson. Jeff Wright, the nose tackle, made the stop. Houston now leading 23-14 over Cleveland. Giants coming back 20-14 for the Jets in the fourth quarter. However, Philadelphia leading Dallas in the fourth. That's a big game for New Orleans in their quest for a wild card. Atlanta now up 9-7.
Pittsburgh score 37-17.
Second and goal at the 3. And Hogaboom lofts it for Boozer, broken up. Nate Odom on the coverage.
Excellent coverage. That ball was laid out. Nate Odom stayed right on him. And the thing you have to do, when that ball is thrown up in the air like that, the quarterman must look at the eyes of the receiver. Booz is there. Odoms is looking at him. He's looking at him. When he sees him make his turn, then you go back and look at the ball. Perfect coverage. Give it to Eric. The only problem is the clock is running with 5:35. It stopped after that play. But if they stop Eric 2 times from here, I'd give it to him.
Third and goal from the 3. Hogaboom to the air, wide open. Touchdown. Matt Boozer has put the Colts back into it with 5:32 remaining, fourth quarter.
That's a call out of made. I'd have thrown it back to Boozer the other way, right after Dickerson. But it almost looked like a pick because when you take a look at the play coming inside, I think that's Brooks. And when Boozer goes outside, Odom's lost him. Just lost him totally. Hogaboom saw him wide open, hit him for the touchdown. There's still 5:32 to go in the fourth quarter.
Boozer's 4th touchdown of the season. Hogaboom throwing for his 6th. And here is Biasucci. And he tacks it on. So the Colts come back. They now trail the Bills 14-10. You see the time left. 5:32 remaining in the fourth quarter. Harry Hogaboom from Matt Boozer, and we'll be back in a moment.
I don't know. What are you going to do?
Engineered by Gary Hogaboom, who came on for the injured Chris Chandler. It is now Buffalo by 4, 14-10, 5:32 remaining, fourth quarter. And Dean Biasucci kicking it off with Errol Tucker the deep man. Indianapolis wants the ball back desperately.
Stay in there.
And he does stay right there.
Is there anything bad about a drive that ends up in 7 points? The only problem is it took them 7 minutes and 28 seconds in order to get that 7 points. There's still 5:26 on the clock, but when you take almost half of the quarter and you're down by 11 at that point, they know they still have to score a touchdown. Now what are we looking at?
And the chant of defense from 60,000 plus here at the Hoosier Dome. Another sellout. Their 7th in 8 home games. The Buffalo Bills setting an NFL attendance record.
There was no infraction
with the big crowd last week.
The ball went into the end zone. The receiving team member touched it down, so we have a touchback. Consequently, there can be no holding out in the field of play. 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line.
There was holding on the play by the Buffalo Bills kick return team, but once you down the ball in the end zone, it is a dead ball. You can't have holding.
Jim Kelly and the Bills. First down from the 20. Kelly's had a good second half. 7 for 9, 59 yards. Mueller took the hit. Short yardage. A yard on the play. 2nd and 9 at the 21.
Even though the Buffalo Bills have a 4-point lead here, we had an injured player down on the field, and that's O'Brien Alston, number 97, the linebacker. But even though the Bills have a 4-point lead here, don't forget that you have Andre Reed sitting out there, and he's playing against a rookie, guy that hadn't played before, Chucky Miller, and he's had a tough time all day with Andre Reed. It's just been play and catch. Don't be afraid to do that.
Miller in his first NFL start on injured reserve. Most of this season that Indianapolis secondary has been hit by injury. Willie Tullis now strong safety. The starter Fred Robinson is out with a knee problem. Craig Swope has a bruised knee. Mike Pryor starting now at free safety. He was the strong safety last week. Well, coming up next, you will see either the Seahawks and the Raiders in their battle to make it to the playoffs, or the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Diego Chargers. Right here is the second part of our doubleheader.
We're going to look at this play here now. Brian Alston's number 97. And it looks like his own man hit him. And that'll smart.
Brian Alston has had an outstanding rookie season. He batted down 3 passes in the final preseason game and won the starting job on the left outside linebacker spot, leading to the departure of Johnny Cooks, 10th round draft pick, who emerged as a starter. Still Houston over Cleveland, 23-14 in the 3rd. Jets by 6 over the Giants. Philadelphia leading Dallas 20-7. And New Orleans trailing Atlanta in the other game of importance among the early starts. 5:12 remaining here in the 4th quarter. Marv Albert with Paul McGuire, our producer George Pinkle, director Dick Klein. And the Colts looking to rev the crowd up. Craig Swope playing cheerleader. 2nd down, they say, and 8 from the 22. Kelly, let's see, what will that be ruled? Will it be ruled a catch and a fumble or incomplete? Let's see.
It's got to. Here you go. We're going to replay this thing. You got to have control. And that's Trumaine Johnson went across, and they were working on Miller. Here it is. Does he have control of the ball? The ball is coming out on the way down. If he has control, they've got to take a look at it. Because if that ball is coming out as he's going down.
Well, if it stands up, it's a 13-yard pickup.
Marv Levy wants the clock to be started. Here it is on the left-hand side of the screen, right at the bottom, at the very bottom of the screen. And is that ball is coming out on the way down. They've got to take another look at it. If Kelly get the play off.
But they're not. It is ruled completed pass. First down at the 35. That's a critical play. Here's Mueller. 3-yard advance for Jamie Mueller. The clock is running. We're down to 4:15 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Don't get mad at me in a truck, guys, but they couldn't have used that replay anyway because you could hardly see part of the body. And the other thing is what they have upstairs. They have their own replay machine, so they know what they're looking at. But from that angle, from just seeing the ball coming out as he was going down, it was either it should have been rolled either no catch or no control or a fumble on the play.
Word on O'Brien, Alston, a bruised lower back suffered, and a question mark as to whether he will return. The Colts have 2 timeouts left. The Bills with 3. Second down and 7. Mueller going wide, could not make the turn. Only 1-yard advance. Cliff Odom rode him out.
I can promise you that play was not designed to go wide and out of bounds. Not when you have the clock rolling at 3:33, and now Kelly's talking to him. Once you get to the sidelines, he's telling the young man, Jamie, you've got to cut it up inside, take the loss. It'll be third down, but let's go ahead and take the loss. But we've got to keep that clock running or force Indianapolis to take a timeout.
Third down, 6. The Bills from their 39. They lead the Colts 14-10. Rob Riddick has checked into the backfield. Kelly gets it away. Incomplete. And the Colts will get it back. Good coverage by the combination of Eugene Daniel and Keith Taylor.
2 things happen on this play. A tremendous pass rush, and how Kelly got out of the first wave, I'll never know. He ducks, watch the rush coming up the middle. Kelly fakes. He gets underneath everyone, and then back up the field he goes with the ball and almost got the completion out. This is a tremendous play by Jim Kelly and also by the defensive secondary.
John Kidd in his 5th season from Northwestern. Punting for the 6th time today. Clarence Verdun is back at his 21. 3:28 left. Here's Verdun, and he runs it out. So the clock is stopped. 44-yard punt, an 8-yard return, and the clock shows 3:19 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Seahawks and the Raiders will go at each other with the winner coming away with the AFC West. The loser goes home. That is next for most of you here as NBC presents a doubleheader offering. For the Buffalo Bills, the question is home field advantage right throughout the playoffs. A victory, and it is theirs. If they lose, it will be Cincinnati having that advantage. For the Colts, the question is the season over following today, or will they play the wild card game next week? They also need a loss by the Browns, and they are still trailing the Houston Oilers. First down at the 25. And Holgerboom runs out of the pocket. He picked up 7. Second down and 3 as we approach 3 minutes remaining, fourth quarter.
They got to hurry up offense.
Now Holgerboom wasting no time, setting his club at the line. And off the draw, it is Dickerson has the first down. Eric Dickerson, 4-11, stopped by the free safety, Mark Kelso. 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, fourth quarter. The Colts do have 2 timeouts left.
What a great weapon he is. It's like a pass play. Marv, it's a short pass play to him, but when a guy picks up 12 to 15 yards when he runs it.
Holgerboom over the middle. Oh, Matt Boozer with the catch for 19.
I was just looking. I thought maybe Leonard Smith was going to get a penalty for nailing the way he did. But you're allowed to hit the man when he's down. As he can get back up. Look at Boozer. You're going to see Leonard Smith come in here. That is legal. That is legal. He didn't get him with his head.
Second catch for Boozer. And the whistle blows for the 2-minute warning. So the clock is stopped The Colts, when we resume, first down at the Buffalo 39. Ron Meyer in the fourth quarter. The Bills with a 14-10 lead over the Indianapolis Colts. Dean Biasucci hit from 52 yards out early in the game, and he missed from 48. Now, had he hit that, things would be different right now. That is not to say it would be necessarily a 14-13 game, but
you said it in the break, Marv, when you said this game would have been played a lot differently by the Buffalo Bills also had he made that field goal. I mean, they know sitting back, they are already in the playoffs. They would like to have the home field advantage forever. I guess that's forever this year. Or in 89, which is going to be 89. Yes. But the other thing is that the Colts need to score a touchdown. So they're going to play a little softer. That stuff's going to be open in the middle. Now, they're talking about, did he call timeout or not? What I'm saying is that Hogeboom shouldn't have called timeout because he's going to get the 2 minutes. Now he still has 2 timeouts on the other side of the 2 minutes.
And Hogeboom, 9 for 13, 82 yards, 1 touchdown. That to Matt Boozer, all in the fourth quarter. He came on for Chris Chandler, who took a hard hit from Bruce Smith and was knocked out of the game for the 4th time this season. When we pick it up, Indianapolis will have first down at the Buffalo 39.
Please reset the stadium clock to 2:02.
Well, 2 more seconds tacked on.
That means he used that timeout. And if he did use that timeout, they shouldn't have.
2:02.
And I'm going to, we'll get into it. We'll have time to get in when we get to the 2-minute deal.
So this means that the 2-minute warning is coming up, and the Colts did waste a timeout. Here's Dickerson for another first down, and he gets out of bounds after picking up 13 with 1:57 remaining, fourth quarter.
Well, now they're at 1:57. The question was, now we got the 2-minute warning. They still have 2 timeouts on a board, which I know they don't have. There should be just 1. We'll have to clarify that. We're at the 2-minute warning now. I wouldn't have taken that timeout at that position. I said that before, because now you only have 1 timeout on the other side of the 2 minutes. You had time to run 1 play, which took 5 seconds. If you wait and you get to the 2 minutes, you can still run that play, call timeout with 1:55, and still have 2 timeouts remaining. I think it was a bad time to call it.
Eric Dickerson now with 163 yards. Twice this season he's gone for 169, and they are saying it is still 2 timeouts left for the Colts.
All right, they're saying it was an official's timeout. So now, when Hogeboom got up under the ball, as soon as the whistle was blown, the ball was snapped. So the clock never got a chance to run down. And I'd like to know what the officials called timeout for. Houston and Cleveland.
23-21, the Browns making a move. Houston by 2 as Ernest Biner ran it in from 2 yards out. They are now early in the fourth quarter. Houston 23, Cleveland 21. So the Browns have come back. They were down by the score of 23-7 in the third quarter. To clarify that point, the officials said they made a mistake by blowing the whistle. So that was an official timeout, and the Colts do have 2 timeouts left. 1:57 remaining. Off the draw, big hole, and then it's closed. Dickerson stopped by Leonard Smith, and now Indianapolis calls for time, and now they are down to 1 remaining.
Here I go again. I wouldn't have called a timeout here either, because we still have 1:50 to go. You can still run another play with Dickerson and then call a timeout. You'll be down around 1:30. But these plays should be called 2 and 3 of them at a time in the huddle, where you don't have to be fooling around, especially on a running play, because you can get back to the line of scrimmage in a hurry, Marv. If it's a pass play way downfield and it was completed, well, it'd been a touchdown here. But I mean, if on a situation like that, if it's a pass play, it's completed, everybody has to get to the ball. That takes a lot of time.
It'll be a 2nd and 7 at the 22. There's 13 minutes remaining in the Houston-Cleveland game with the Oilers up 23-21. The Colts must win here, and that has to be coupled with a defeat by the Cleveland Browns for Indianapolis to get in as a wild card. If Cleveland wins, they make it by virtue of head-to-head play. The Bills lead it 14-10. Holcomb off the roll, throws it away, had no one. And we're set for an update. Let's go to NFL Live at our New York studio.
Okay, Marv, here's the Cleveland touchdown. Ernest Biner from 2 yards out. Following the extra point, they trail by 23-21. A field goal could win it for them. There's plenty of time left in this game, 13 minutes. Houston just returned the subsequent kickoff to their 40, so they have good field position. Back to Marv and Paul.
Thank you, Bob. A 3rd down and 7 at the 22. Minute 45 remaining 4th quarter. Brooks to the right. And Bellini now flank left. That is Booza in motion. Handoff to Dickerson, rather to Bentley. Picked up 10 on the 1st down. Albert Bentley.
What a great call. That is a great call. Bentley has not taken a handoff today, has he, Kenny? I don't think Bentley has taken a handoff today.
That was his first.
Here's a flag on the play. Bentley did not take a handoff, and all of a sudden, everybody's looking at Dickerson. You're looking at 4 wide receivers, and you hand the ball to Bentley, and a little quick trap up the middle. But they got the Bills. They got the Bills in a defense where they have 6 defensive backs, only 1 linebacker in the backfield.
Delay of game. 55 defense.
One of the Buffalo Bills kicked at the ball, and it's called a delay of game, a critical call against Buffalo.
Well, what happens? The Bills they have 6 defensive backs, 1 linebacker that plays deep. They have 3 down linemen, and they move Cornelius Bennett, who is a linebacker, up on a line of scrimmage as a down lineman. And they're just running in the middle because there's nobody there.
It is Holcomb to Bentley, and he's in. Touchdown. Bentley had carried the ball only 10 times the last 7 games. He has been a forgotten man since the addition of Eric Dickerson. He reeled off 10 on the ground. He just caught a touchdown pass. And Indianapolis very much alive as they now lead the Bills 16-14 with a minute 18 left in this 4th quarter. And here is Dean Biasucci. 3-point lead and a come-from-behind effort by the Colts.
Now, what do you say about Albert Bentley, the forgotten man? Obviously, the Bills forgot about him on a running play where he got the 1st down. And here, when you take a look at Bentley, comes out of the backfield. There's no one on him right here. And right at the end, Leonard Smith gets to him, but he got cut off because they had a crossing pattern. And now watch Booza. Booza goes across the middle. This freezes Leonard Smith for just a second. Bentley slips out. 2 plays in a row. A running play for about 12 to 15 yards and a pass play for a touchdown. Can't do it any better than that, folks.
And what an effort by Gary Holgaboom, who came on for Chris Chandler. Holgaboom, the 9-year veteran from Central Michigan, who's made it back from shoulder surgery. He had 3 major injuries last year. Played most of the game last week against the Jets. Did not have this kind of success, but he has come off the bench, and he has lit it up.
Now, here's the problem for the Colts. Cleveland's on a comeback. Could be all for naught. But you got the best field goal kicker in the National Football League is on the Buffalo Bills team. Scott Norwood. There he is. And they only need 3 to tie it, to send it into overtime. They've got 1 minute and 18 seconds, the Bills, with 3 timeouts. Here we go.
Of course, Indianapolis Colts fans will argue that point with Dean Biasucci. And here is the return by Ronnie Harmon. Harmon out short of the 25, an 18-yard return. 7.5 left in Cleveland. And the Houston Oilers lead the Cleveland Browns now 23-21. Eugene Daniel on the tackle, and we're down to 1 minute 10 and 3 timeouts left.
All right, Marv, 2 things happen here. With the Buffalo, we got offside against the Colts on the kickoff. So what do you want to do? You want to run more time off the clock? You take the ball right where it is, don't you? Because when they kick off again, you're going to run more time. You got it down to 110. They're going to make it kick it again.
Number 48 kicking team, re-kick, 5-yard penalty.
All right, that is Donnie D, a backup tight end, called on the penalty.
Take a look. You see the blitz coming. The Buffalo Bills also sent a corner, Wayne Davis, who plays safety in that dime package, which leaves one-on-one coverage with Leonard Smith and Albert Bentley. See, I don't like this. Biasucci can kick the ball and get it down by the 5-yard line, and they get good coverage again. You lost about 7 seconds on the clock, and you're going to lose another 7 or 8 seconds on the clock, which is valuable time. 2 things have to happen here. The Bills have to be patient because they have that field goal kicker. They've got the strong arm of Kelly. They've been able to throw the football. The other thing, the Indianapolis Colts don't do anything stupid. One of those stupid penalties that guys overreacting to things, making a mistake like that. Just play your defense the way you know how to play it, the way you played it for the first 4 quarters of this ball game, or almost 4 quarters.
Indianapolis coming back from a 14-3 deficit. In Buffalo, the Bills, the club that came from behind. The Colts had led 17-0 in the second quarter in that earlier meeting. So Biasucci will kick it again. And there's Errol Tucker, first-year man from Utah, back at his 8-yard line. Buffalo does have 3 timeouts left. Good kick. Oh, excellent kick. And they will bring it out to the 20.
And they lost, not only did they lose time on the clock the first time, the clock didn't start here, but they lost about 8 yards that they would have had.
Houston with that 2-point lead over Cleveland. 4th quarter, under 7 minutes remaining. And the Giants have come from behind. If they win, they take the division. New Orleans has come from behind. They lead Atlanta 10-9 as they are gunning for a wild card. Pittsburgh big over Miami. Tampa Bay leads Detroit. And it has come down to this, depending, of course, on Houston and Cleveland. As Kelly unleashes. Oh, nice catch made by Ronnie Harmon. Chucky Miller on the stop. It is just shy of the first down.
Remember the Cincinnati game we did with the Buffalo Bills when they got in trouble in the game? They were way down. They just started coming down the field with Harmon and Riddick. Harmon and Riddick. Once in a while, take a look for Andre Reed. Just throw those little short passes. Get him. That play took 6 seconds, and they picked up, 9 yards on the play.
Second down, 1. Kelly looking sideline. And that's exactly what they're doing as he has Andre Reed. A 14-yard advance. And for Reed, his 71st catch of the season. And that is a Buffalo Bill franchise record. Breaking the record held by Frank Lewis. Coming up next, you'll see either the Seahawks and Raiders battling for the AFC West or the Chiefs and the Chargers. 59 seconds. remaining fourth quarter. Kelly could not find anyone.
Don't want to do that.
And quickly calls for the timeout. Jeff Herrod brought him down. So the timeout with 50 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Give credit to the defensive secondary and also the pass rush by the Colts on that play. Kelly had no place to go with the ball, no one to throw it to. Now you go back and take a look at Harmon and Riddick and see what the Colts are doing. Marv, they don't mind going into overtime. They wouldn't like to. But if Kelly throws that bomb and then they're down by 4 points, that means they have to score a touchdown to get back. They give up the 3, it just could send this thing into overtime. So they're going to give him the short stuff. But all of a sudden you get to a point in this field where you have to tighten it up because of Scott Norwood.
And when we pick it up, it'll be a 2nd down and 7 at the 46. Buffalo Bills now trailing the Indianapolis Colts 17-14 for Buffalo. It's a matter of home field advantage throughout the playoffs, or a loss today would mean Cincinnati would gain that advantage. Kelly again could not find anyone and has to slide down.
So you're running too much time because you have receivers down the field. He's going to just dump the ball. He's going to dump it.
And he stops the clock with 33 seconds remaining.
See, there's a situation we were talking about earlier when you got with the Colts taking a timeout before the 2-minute warning. You're into a situation, Marv, where you got all your receivers downfield because it was a pass play. Now he's running with the ball, runs time off the clock. Now you got to wait for all of these guys to get back, which takes about 7 or 8 more seconds. Go ahead and take the timeout. You have one more. You have one more. Now they've taken their second timeout. They've got one left. Or they still have 2 timeouts. I'm saying they could have taken that one there and had one left.
Kelly goes the middle. Down to 29 seconds.
Darby and Thompson, I mean, they're just blowing up the field. They have no responsibility whatsoever right now, the defensive linemen. And this is the part of the ball game where they really love it. They don't have to worry about draws. They don't have to worry about screens. They don't have to worry about any running plays. All they want to do is get to number 12. And looking at that secondary, you talk about excellent coverage. Kelly had no place to go with the ball.
It's a 3rd and 10. Buffalo at the Indianapolis 46. Now Kelly goes sideline and broken up. Pass intended for Chris Burkett. And it was Eugene Daniel, number 38, 5-year man from LSU, who made the play.
Eugene Daniel went for the ball. Now, you know, you got to make sure that you can get to that ball. You don't want to make a mistake. You bypass that ball, Burkett gets it. He's got touchdown. Daniel was there. I don't think there was any chance at all for that ball to get there. Now you're looking at what? 4th down, 10 yards to go, 25 seconds, and you got one timeout.
So the timeout is taken, I'm told, about 4 minutes remaining in the Houston-Cleveland game, with the Oilers leading the Browns by the score of 23-21. No, they say 8 minutes. All right, 8 minutes remaining in the game as we check out the report card, and Hogaboom came on and connected on 10 of 15 to lead the Indianapolis Colts back. 166 yards for Dickerson, and Bentley with a 10-yard run and a touchdown catch in that series that put the Colts on top.
Isn't that amazing? Dickerson coming into this game carrying the ball like 25 times a game. He's carried it 36 times, and he didn't look tired.
Eric Dickerson, who appears to be on his way to another NFL rushing title. Kelly 17 for 29, 2 touchdowns to Andre Reed. Reed with 71 catches now for the season.
This place could explode in about a half a minute.
4th down play, flag has been tossed, and Kelly completes to Riddick for the 1st down. But let's check out the penalty.
It's going to be 4th and 15, I think.
False start prior to the snap, number 71.
Hellestray, 71.
Al Hellestray, who has taken over for the injured Tim Vogler at right guard. Call down the penalty. It is a 4th and 15 with 22 seconds remaining. The Bills have 1 timeout left.
Eric Dickerson's just sitting on the bench, relaxing.
Plays reset the stadium clock to 25 seconds.
It's really funny when you see
everybody's
up on the sidelines, and this is a playoff for him. I mean, this is do or die. Here's Eric. He's just getting himself ready in case they have to go for overtime. Hi, how are you?
And Paul, they just reset the clock. Ron Meyer in a discussion about it. It's back to 25 seconds. 4th and 15. And Kelly is smothered. Jeff Harrod, the rookie from Mississippi, with the sack. His first of the season.
I told you it was going to erupt. Here it comes. Take a look to the right of the screen. Kelly never sees him. And just blindsided him. Harrod came up. He's a blitzing linebacker. They had everything covered in the secondary. Kelly had no place to go. If you ask why he didn't unload the ball, remember it was 4th and 15, not 4th and 5. 4th and 15. He had to go downfield. And when you have to go downfield, you have to wait. Harrod was there.
And that the first sack of the day for the Colts. So with 22 seconds remaining, Indianapolis takes over, and they will just run it down.
We looked at Eric Dickerson on the sideline before that play. He didn't look tired. Only carried 36 times for 166 yards. That means Cincinnati Bengals have the home field advantage in the championship if they get there.
That is Buffalo's 3rd timeout.
And a timeout has been taken by Buffalo. Their final timeout stops the clock with 16 seconds remaining. And it also means that the Cleveland Browns must lose as far as the Indianapolis Colts are concerned. If the Browns lose, the Colts go to the playoffs. Right here, time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. And today's MVP, quarterback Gary Hogeboom, who came on for the injured Chris Chandler and rallied his club back. So Gary Hogeboom of the Colts, our MVP. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's games.
And that is the guy that I think, I swear, I just think they're all happy and everybody's hugging and kissing on the sideline, but you got to wait on the Cleveland game. I always thought that Gary Hogeboom should have been the starting quarterback of this football team the entire year.
So Gary Hogeboom leading his club back into it, and now the Colts head back to the locker room, and they will be rooting for the Houston Oilers to hang on as they have defeated the Bills 17-14 to make it a record of 9-7. The Bills finish at 12-4, and the Cincinnati Bengals now have home field advantage off their victory yesterday, plus the Bills' defeat today. They'll have it throughout the playoffs. So still Houston 23, Cleveland 21 in the 4th quarter at Cleveland. Indianapolis knocking off Buffalo 17-14. They get a split on the season series. And the capacity crowd here at the Hoosier Dome just thoroughly enjoyed what they saw in the 4th quarter as Hogeboom hit with 2 touchdown passes. Coming up, another major confrontation. The Seahawks and the Raiders battling to go to the playoffs as they vie for the AFC West Championship. Marv Albert with Paul McGuire saying so long from the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis.